Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm. We're a Final Fantasy XIV podcast, and this week we're actually diving into a topic that has been long delayed, and also doing a bit of an interview style on the same topic. We're going to talk about some lore today. We haven't actually done a 6.1 lore show, but we don't want to just do a 6.1 lore show, so we brought on a first-time guest to make things a little bit more interesting. But we need some hosts for that. I'm one of them, Mr. Happy. Of course, joining me is Sly, who, are you the lore champion at the moment? Did I win? I think you won it back, right?
Yeah, I won it back.
I can't remember. It was so long ago. How you doing, Sly?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. Just had lunch, energized, ready to go.
Nice. I haven't, so I'm jealous, but I have.
Yeah, it's right in front of you.
I have a buffalo chicken wrap right here that was just delivered to me, so I could always eat that. But I won't be rude. And we have a special guest joining the show for the first time. It's been a long time request. We have Pyromancer on. Hello, hello, Pyro.
How you doing, Pyro?
I'm doing great, you guys. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good.
I'm doing great. A little hungry like you, but energized nonetheless, and ready to talk about some lore, dude.
Lore. Yeah, people have been asking for a long time for us to get some more lore people on. And when you started your adventures, it was a very common request. I, however, as Sly knows, never talked to anyone. So it has taken a long time. All our most interesting shows he puts together because I'm like, I don't want to bother them.
No. The most interesting shows we put together are the shows Happy does at the last minute. And he has this uncanny, ability to go to someone at the last minute. Hey, you want to be on State of Realm? Sure. Done. Like, I don't know how he does it, but I tried it. I tried my hand at it one time and I was successful, I guess.
Yeah, just got to have the good RNG rolls, dude.
Yeah. He's got that luck.
The only luck that was involved here is Pyro came to my stream and I put him on the spot and said, hey, at some point, do you want to do... Just out of curiosity, while you're here in front of everyone.
Yeah. Might
Sorry
as well.
about that.
Sure.
Sorry.
No. It's fine, dude. I'm totally fine going on things with people, and there's I'm down to chat. I don't care.
That's all this is. This is a chat. There's no script for this. We just start pointing in directions, and that's where the show goes. Okay. And we go until we are tired of each other. Pretty much.
Cool.
It's about 2 hours. Before we get started, however, we do have some sponsors for the show. Steelseries, of course, sponsor for State of the Realm, sponsor for the channel. We do have a giveaway that's ending soon. It ends at the end of July. So on the YouTube video, be sure to go and check that out. Just win free stuff. Who doesn't want to win free stuff? And if you don't want to win free stuff, then just buy it. There's a discount code. That's what it's always there for. We also have our sponsors over on Patreon who don't get anything special, but they just like the show. And so they support us, and we love them for it. They get our love. As Sly always says, we love you.
We do love you.
We do love you. And then finally, HelloFresh, not officially sponsoring the show, but I might as well shout them out because I've been using them for 2 years. And they are sponsoring the Twitch channel until the end of the month. So, ! HelloFresh. You get 16 free meals in your first 7 boxes and 3 gifts. They didn't even pay me to say that on State of the Realm. I'm doing it anyway. Just doing it.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, sign up or ask me questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Click my name, I guess. Yeah, that's a good way of doing the shout out. See, on the overlay, because Pyro is smart and doesn't have a Twitter, or if he does, I don't know.
That's the point.
Yeah.
I do, but no one knows it's
Yeah,
there.
see, that's the smart thing to do. So I modified yours and gave you a nice Twitch symbol next to your name instead.
Nice.
So they know exactly where it is. All right. So, Pyro, we haven't done a lore show in a very long time.
All right.
It's our lore expert has moved on to bigger and better things that we were used to having. And we wish him the best. Probably won't be seeing him again anytime soon.
Yeah.
Love you. Love you at this.
Yeah, I was going to say that's at this, huh?
Yeah. He's moved on to bigger and better things.
I heard so much about him, and then when I first started playing, and then it just kind of I never heard anything again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's doing good by himself. That's the most important thing above anything else. But we are not we're enthusiastic about lore here on the show. We are not as diligent as an individual such as yourself or other community member Moose as well.
We're somewhat diligent. I mean,
Sly, stop trying to bring
wait. Pyro has the big ass notebook. I've seen that notebook, by the way. Holy shit.
I got a couple. All those right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our notebook is akin to the screenshots folder in our Final Fantasy screenshots place. That's our notebook, and then of course the Encyclopedia Eorzea.
That's our cheat book
volumes. Yeah, that's our cheat.
We're all cheating. Don't worry.
Waiting on volume 3. One day.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe one day. Some pre-alpha stuff.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. But with that, for anyone who might not be familiar with you as a content creator, your history, you're getting into Final Fantasy 14, we really want to leave the door open for you to kind of just say as much as you want about yourself and about Final Fantasy 14 and its lore. So we're going to keep this really open-ended.
Sure.
Let's start with just your history as a creator. You getting into Final Fantasy 14, what came before, and we'll leave the floor to you.
Sure. Yeah. So I've been doing YouTube and Twitch for I've been making YouTube videos for probably close to 10 years now, and which is kind of crazy to say actually. And then streaming on Twitch for probably like 5 at this point, 4 or 5. But I got into MMOs with RuneScape actually back in the day, man. So that was my first MMORPG, and I still play it to this day. Old school RuneScape, almost max main. So if you play that game, you know what's up. But I kind of got when they ruined the combat in that game back when it was RuneScape without any extra stuff added to it, just RuneScape. I went and I started playing World of Warcraft, and that game sucked me in like a whirlpool, dude. Like a fucking vortex in the middle of the ocean. It was crazy. No pun intended.
No, that's I know that's a pun. That's most assuredly a pun.
A maelstrom, so to speak. And in that game, yeah, just kind of like enveloped me, and I fell in love with that game, and fell in love with the fantasy aspects of all the elves and dwarves and that cool stuff, and the gods and the dragons, and there was just so much going on in the universe at the time when I started playing in Mists of Pandaria, back when the game was still pretty darn good. So yeah, I played that for a while. I actually wasn't in a story or lore at all. I was just like a younger kid who just wanted to play a warlock. So shocker that I played Black Mage.
Fellow warlock main.
Yeah. I actually started making like YouTube video guides for warlock. So actually, even before that, I was making guides for RuneScape that got like 100 views or something, But then I started making class guides for Warlock in WoW, and my channel got some attention. And then after a couple some rating tiers of doing higher end competitive rating, like usually like top 100 world, top 30 to 50 US, I decided that I didn't really want to invest that kind of time anymore. We were rating like 25 hours a week, so I decided to get into lore, and that's when like the story aspect of my channel like exploded, and that's when my channel really started to get attention, and when I started to fall in love with more of like trying to figure out what's going to happen and what's coming. And then WoW just kind of burnt out for me, I guess. I played that game for 7 years, making videos on it the whole time. And it just got to a point where I just was kind of bored of playing it. And after I stopped Mythic raiding, I just didn't really have anything to strive toward anymore. That mixed with a lot of the RNG and gearing and stuff like that just made it feel like you could never really get to the end, which is one thing I love about Final Fantasy is like, I feel like I can achieve an end goal. Like I can get best in slot and be best in slot for like months and not have to worry about it. So I came to this game, and after the whole legal thing came out with Blizzard, and we found out about some of their terrible behaviors behind the scenes, I decided that I didn't want to support that anymore. And I had a kind of you guys might have seen it. I had kind of a meltdown, so to speak, kind of a blow up on stream. It's a clip that's got over 250,000 views. Asmongold has reacted to it. It's got like 2 million views. So a lot of people have seen it, you know, and it was just a very frustrating but raw moment for me that set me over the edge and just kind of made me realize that maybe a lot of the reasons why the game quality was suffering was that the people working there were suffering, and I didn't want to support any of that anymore, and I just didn't want to be a part of it. So my friends had been trying to convince me to come play Final Fantasy for months. I worked with them at the time at a retail store, and they convinced me to make a character on Diablos. So I did. I haven't played a second with any of those people that convinced me to play. But since then, I've just been going through the story, and I've had little hiccups here and there as far as on Twitch and stuff. So people might be familiar with that, but I've put in a lot of work to overcome some of my anger problems and stuff, and I'm just continuing to push forward and loving the game and trying to better myself and prove that I don't want to just have my career be a string of moments where I freaked out on camera and that's what people remember, you know. So I want to learn from this game because it's taught me so much, and I think that that's kind of led me to where I am now as far as attitude and vibe and just what I care about. So that's kind of the history of that so far.
And it is a storied one because not referring to that, I had no intention of even bringing that into the fold, but I want to level with you a little bit. We've all been there to some capacity. I have my own moments that I've had to overcome, and I think Final Fantasy 14 and its community has been key to that. So yeah, I level with you on that to some capacity. You know. Thanks.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you not seeking to bring it up, but I feel like it's something that it's an opportunity to address because there were I saw comments from people that said things like, hey, you know, I used to watch his stream, but I can't anymore because he's just he's too angry and it makes me uncomfortable. And I really sat on that for a little bit and really had to think about how it was affecting other people and if I wanted that to be the persona that I have. And I obviously figured out that that's not what I want. So, so yeah, I'd have no problem addressing it and just kind of owning it. It is what it is.
Now with WoW, with you coming from WoW was pretty much your mainstay. That was pretty much your 20, pretty much what you played. I wouldn't say 24/7, but majority of the time. Do you coming from WoW to Final Fantasy 14? Do you like the pacing of 14 compared to WoW? Do you like the fact that you can actually do other shit and you don't have to be on you don't have to endlessly grind like you did on WoW?
Yeah, I definitely think that towards the last few years that I played WoW, they started to introduce more of that. It was less a problem in Mists of Pandaria where you could obtain your legendary cloak and then you're good, right? When they went into Legion, they introduced the Azerite system. That wasn't. Sorry, what was an artifact power is what it was. And that was like the first time we started to get like Paragon grinding, like Diablo style, almost like it doesn't end. And that's really burned me out because I'm a very goal-oriented person. And so if you can't reach the end of the fucking road, like I don't want to go down the road necessarily. Sometimes it is about the destination when it comes to video games, at least. So it's nice. It's really nice to come to Final Fantasy where like I can get best in slot, like I was telling you guys on my Black Mage, and kind of forget about that until the next tier if I want to, unless I want to go and do Ultimate. Right. So I think that the pacing and how much you're actually required to play is a really nice breather. However, there's also a negative side to that where sometimes you find that the things that you have available to you that you can do don't seem that enticing or interesting. And so I sometimes find myself a little bored, a little like I don't know what to do, which is like weird to my chat because my chat then goes, well, you still have Hildebrand you can do, you still have Eureka, you still have this and this. And I'm like, guys, but there's a reason why those are all the things that are left, right? Like there's a reason I went through all the other stuff first. So there is that too, right? Like I think it's nice because you have that freedom, but sometimes it's also kind of not so nice because it's like, nah, I don't really know what to do now. So
and then there's Yoshi V, who's like, you know what, you can go ahead and play some other shit. It'll be here.
Exactly. I'm gonna go play Final Fantasy IV, honestly, because that's what I've been doing. I'll play like 14 for like 2-3 hours until I kind of get like meh, and then I'll go and play a different Final Fantasy.
Yeah, so. And that's an important lesson. That was going to be a point that I definitely wanted to bring up, and we're gonna stick to this kind of just general topic before we talk too much specifically about the lore. Sure. You obviously came from, as you said, from World of Warcraft. Now the pacing was one thing in particular, but also how much of an idea did you have what you were getting into when you decided to swap MMOs? Because I think for anyone swapping an MMO that you play, regardless of reason, is it's daunting to go from this thing you've invested years into to then something completely brand new. So when you started Final Fantasy 14, what was the thought? What was the expectation?
So thankfully I've already done that, right, with RuneScape to WoW. So I had that transition of going from click-based RNG combat, so to speak, to now I have a full layout of keys that I need to keybind. So going from RuneScape to WoW, I struggled with like learning to keybind and learning to use voice chats to like interact with people as a team to like get things done, because you just didn't really have to do that before. Now coming from WoW to FF, it was less about learning the basics of an MMO and how you interact with people on it, but it was more about like, how do I navigate this? How do I get through all, like, what are all these menus, dude? Like, this is a lot of menus, man. I click on one of my menus at the bottom and it opens a list with 18 different menu options. What the fuck is that? So that was probably the biggest transition problem that I had was, how do I navigate? Where did I find that again? Like, how do I use this map? You know, the JRPG style of map is a little bit different than what they have in WoW. It's a little bit different to navigate. So it was really like finding my bearings. I think that was kind of tough. I think though that there were also some really good things. Like one of the first things that I came upon was like finding out that you can dye armor. And I was like freaking the fuck out that you could dye armor. And chat's like, yeah, it's been a thing forever. And I'm like, this is insane. Like, you can't do this in a while. So there were really cool, exciting things. You know, I think you get enveloped in a new world that has a little bit of familiarity if you've played Final Fantasy before. Like, I know what a chocobo is. I know what a cactuar is. I know what those things are. So it was different in that aspect. I had a little bit of comfort coming over because I'd played 10. But besides that, yeah, it was just really troublesome to navigate actually getting through the menus in the game and stuff.
We've been playing this game for some time. It gets easier, but it never...
You never really completely master it.
No.
I feel like I still forget where I find things in my UI all the time. I'm like, where did I fucking do that again?
The little menu with like the 8 things like lined up next to each other that I always like, which one's travel? Which one's
Dude, I know.
social?
I'm like, wait a second. Is that the duty finder?
How do I turn off effects again for everybody else?
I know.
I have highlight potential targets on, and everyone's like, where the heck is that option?
Yeah, we're always finding out new shit, even though it's not new. Like,
it's like, that's been there since Heaven's Ward. It's fucking new to me, dude. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's like the Bed Bath & Beyond section, except it's always the Beyond section.
That's where you find magic remotes and stuff. You gotta be careful.
Yeah, it fits.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, well, great. So you got started. It was the menu navigation, but clearly you, at the very least, enjoyed it enough to get over those initial humps and, take some of your excitement for some of the smaller aspects and, for lack of a better term, forge ahead. So as you're going through A Realm Reborn, this more story-driven experience, was that kind of a shock to the system? Even I know World of Warcraft, when you joined Mists of Pandaria, was a lot more story-driven. At the very least, they tried to be. But
it doesn't matter. They removed that whole quest line anyway, so who cares? You think I'm fucking trolling. You think I'm trolling.
No, I don't. I never think anyone's trolling when they tell me things about WoW.
They completely removed the entire legendary cloak quest line, which gives you like a ton of insight on Anduin, Rin, and like Rathian, who are both going to be really important next expansion. But they literally evaporated that out of the game. It's not there anymore.
I'm not surprised. Anyway. I mean, that was Cataclysm evaporated a lot of stuff, so I'm not really all that surprised.
But there's just no reason. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a shock initially, like the way that characters are voiced. They're voiced a lot more in this game, although I have to say A Realm Reborn and Heraldlib's pretty much like the only good VA, so there's that. But that's a long time ago, I'm not a voice actor, so what do I know about
What, you don't like Gaius?
Oh, God.
Such devastation.
Oh, dude,
This
the cup
was
is... Yeah,
not my intention. Such devastation.
yeah, that's great. I've never tried a cup. That's actually probably how he did it. What the fuck? Anyway, no, I mean, I think that A Realm Reborn is definitely a lot to get through, even after it was cut down. I do think that the Twitch community can have an effect on how you feel about that piece of that section of content. Because when you first start, you're getting a lot of like, oh, it gets way better. It gets way better. This is the bad part of the game, like blah, 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 blah. And that really puts a damper on how you're able to enjoy the base of the game. And I warned my chat about that several times as far as like, guys, you really got to be careful with how you're positioning expectations and stuff, because you're making me feel bad about the game that I'm playing now. And I'm enjoying this, but you're telling me things that make me feel like I'm not supposed to be enjoying it, and it's fucking me up. So after we got over that hurdle, it was good. I mean, the way that they laid out the story was nice, how they had it segmented, how they gave you more meaningful political drama, because they're not just political figures that you never interact with and don't care about. These are These are political figures that like you have personally interacted with and maybe at this point care about a little bit. And that's something that WoW does not do well at all. The political drama in WoW is fucking dog shit, and it almost always has been. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's completely unrelatable. A lot of it's cold, just cold calculated logic, which is just not fun to deal with. So I really liked how Final Fantasy brought in a hell of a lot more of like the empathy to not only your friends, but maybe even the enemy that you're dealing with. And I felt like that just gave a new life to storytelling for me and a lot more freshness. And even in A Realm Reborn, I found the techniques used for storytelling were more effective than those used in World of Warcraft.
And they haven't been deleted yet, for the most part.
They have not been deleted, for the most part, correct.
I feel like because there are some quests that they have gone back and deleted, especially with the shortened Realm Reborn. But I can't recall if there's anything of importance that was done, or if it is just kill 3 this or pick up 8 of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if I would say, like, I would even say, even after the cut down, like, even going back through it, there's a couple little parts I would still even take out, like, that I still think don't really belong. Mostly, like what you're saying, fetch quests. And there's even quests where you get characters that are like, look, some people think this is funny, but I don't. I think it's disrespectful. When you get characters that are mocking you for wasting your time, I don't think that's funny. I think that's really annoying. Unless it's done very well in the humor. When you get characters that are like, oh yeah, I'm going to go have you get this for me because, for no reason, which did happen. I can't remember exactly where that
happens still.
Yeah, it's really fucking annoying. I don't think that's funny. But that's also me maybe being a little bit of a hard ass.
Yeah, by the time you get to Endwalker, there's more than a handful of quests where you're like, again? You literally look at the NPC and you go, really?
Yeah.
Me?
Like the wine quests, the Titan banquet quests. Then there's the dude, don't even get me started on the sections of music that don't stop playing. Oh shit, dude. Oh shit. Hold on, let me turn my camera off and back on. It's like lagging.
Yeah, no problem. The drama turns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Evilise, Titan. Yeah, there's a handful in there.
Oh, look at that. That's pretty.
oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, perfect. You swap places with them for a brief moment.
Oh, I got to be you. Okay, cool.
And he got to be you.
That's kind of my take on that. As far as there's definitely some areas that were rough, but even still, better storytelling than WoW, I'd say.
Now, I know we have WoW has a lot of outside sources from
the instant laughter.
Go ahead.
14 we have the Tales from series, the Tales from the Dragon Song War, Tales from the Calamity. Have you read any of the side stories on the Lodestone, and what did you think about them?
Yeah, I read all the Dragon Song War ones. I think I read most of the Stormblood, if not all the Stormblood ones, and I've read some of, but not all the Shadowbringers ones. And I think that they're really good. Some of the little hints that you can get in those are really nice as far as like anecdotal information, things that just it's cool to know about this person. That's maybe where their mind was going into the situation. One that comes to mind is the ones about Elidibus in Hades. I think those two are two of the better ones that really speak from the perspective of the character in a way that goes, oh, okay, like this is giving me more perspective of what this society was like before what we're seeing now, and giving me a little bit more information there. And I think that that's really nice. I would say, so WoW has that type of thing as well. WoW has short stories as well. They're not clustered per expansion quite like they are in this game, though. So organizationally, they're harder to navigate, and I think that there's more of them. But then you know as well that there's a lot of other stuff with WoW. But as far as the short stories go, I really like them, and I look forward to finishing them. But it's something that I take in segments. Otherwise, it just kind of gets boring.
Man, I remember. I think it's I'm so bad with expansion names for WoW because there's so many of them at this point. Which book what came after Mists of Pandaria expansion wise? What was it?
Chronicle Volume 1.
Yeah, the one where they explained the whole start of the expansion that from the trailer that they. Yeah, I remember that. I read that one.
Yeah,
it was.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that one. It was pretty good, but it was pretty upsetting to know that the entire way an expansion got started after Mists was through the war crimes thing with Anduin and Garrosh.
Yeah, that all happening in a book is just really stupid. The Chronicle books are good. They are and they aren't. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think Volume 1 came out in MOP. It might have been Volume 2, but I think Volume 2 was Warlords of Draenor, and then I think Battle for Azeroth is Volume 3. That sounds right. They're good, but one thing about those books is that unlike the Encyclopedia Eorzea books, which are certainly the closest comparison, those books... The encyclopedia books are written as an encyclopedia, right? And they make it very clear when what you're reading is like, oh, based on tales and myths and legends, or based on Sharlayan scholars, or based on students of Baldessian, right? They're always telling you where it's coming from. Chronicle did not do that. So Chronicle told you a story, less encyclopedic, but more in the form of a story, and didn't tell you where it was being sourced from. So it came down to folks like me to look. I was looking at Chronicle and going, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. The way that they word this is kind of weird. And I start picking apart the book and relating it to the game. And I'm like, wait a second. Like, it almost seems like what's in the game is actually the direct opposite of what they say in the book. Like, that's kind of confusing. There's a lot of underlying things. Why am I holding this pen?
It helps make the point.
Hidden in this book, and at BlizzCon they got on stage and admitted finally after a question that that the book is written from the perspective of the Titans and those who serve the Titans, but there's many other perspectives too. So they kind of gave us this fucking cop-out answer of like, basically the book's not that concrete, and because it's written in such a way that leaves it open to interpretation, we can pretty much make whatever we want out of it. And I kind of hated that because I felt I liked that I felt like the book was open to interpretation. There was secrets to be found in it, but I hated that they took that and were like, yeah, we can basically just do whatever we want now. And it made it feel like the book didn't really have much value anymore. You started to feel like, well, I'm reading these words down on paper, reading these words that are written down on paper, and then they turn out to not be true. And it just feels almost like invalidating and almost just kind of like frustrating, like you've been slighted to an extent. Because all of a sudden they bring in this other level of gods that have never been mentioned. They've never been introduced. When they have all the playing cards and all the chess pieces right in front of them to make a compelling story, they try to introduce newer, bigger, badder for no fucking reason. So yeah, I'll stop rambling. Otherwise, I'll go forever.
Hey, I mean, this show is on your back, so, you know, I'm not going to stop you. And besides, I'm a firm believer when someone's passionate about something, it can sometimes just be enthralling to listen. So I'm never sure when you're ending, but I'm just like, yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Thanks. I appreciate the freedom.
The free, yeah, like this. Listen, this show just. There's a reason we don't have a script for it. There's no point. We're not gonna follow it anyway.
I've been on shows with real tight scripts, and it's like it was awkward. It was awkward. I had one time that the host messaged me and was like, "Hurry up."
I'll just tell you to hurry up if we need to.
Like, when is your fucking podcast over? All right, when I leave. Oh,
there. Anyway, that's pretty much how this one is. Yeah, I just want you to be relaxed. Yeah. Besides, we have a lot more fun when we're relaxed.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
There we go. Sly.
I'm thinking about it, bro. I know it's early, but I'm thinking about it.
If you want, I will make one with you. Do it.
I'm like a little nervous. I'd do one. I could do one.
Sly's getting look. Right. He's getting ready to stand up.
Hey, can we take a minute?
You can take a minute. Yeah, I told you. This is a chill show. Sly, are you gonna treat yourself?
I could make a Hemingway.
Sly's a good influence.
I'll just be simple and add vodka. Well, no.
I'm gonna have a coffee. I'm gonna stick to my coffee for now. There we go. See?
I'll just add some Southern comfort to this.
Arnold Palmer.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't had SoCo in ages. I used to drink a lot of SoCo.
So it'll just spice this up.
There you go. Truck cat dude, let's go. This is what I mean. This is why it's good that the show doesn't have.
We're relaxed.
Yeah.
We are so relaxed on this show.
It's better that way. Well, I mean, sometimes it's not, but right now it is. He's gonna go treat himself to something real nice. A little whiskey never hurts. There you go. The state of the realm is relaxed. Yeah, that's the state of the realm right now. Is desperately waiting a month for the content to come out. That's the reality of it. It's not even that desperate. There's a lot going on right now, but getting there, I suppose, is the way to put it. There you go. Y'all, listen, I ain't putting anything in this coffee. This is staying a regular coffee.
Yeah, you ain't got no Irish cream? No
Irish cream. No. It's not going to be an Irish coffee. In fact, I'm actually out of coffee. There's like a drip in there at the very most.
And you got to wait to eat that wrap?
I don't have to. Damn. I don't care.
I would go ahead and eat it, dude. Just eat. Like, you need some food. I had some chicken tenders that were ready to fry.
All right, Omega.
Yeah, they were good.
They were good. Oh, I thought you had them already. Okay.
Yeah,
I got my bean water. Yeah, he's got his. He put some SoCo in his Arnold Palmer.
Oh, nice.
So
I got a. Well, it's Hornitos tequila, platinum, and some kind of rum mixer, but it smells tropical, so I figured it might taste like a margarita.
Hey,
that's where we're at.
I've got half a cup of black coffee.
A little strong.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Anyway. It is platinum tequila after all. Tequila at noon's extra risky. Well,
and a rum mixer too. Wow.
Well, it's meant to go with rum. It's not a.
Yeah, it's not booze. It's not booze.
No.
Okay.
That's fine. All right. Well, now that we are 100% assuredly relaxed.
Yeah.
You came out of a realm. Everyone told you that you weren't supposed to like A Realm Reborn.
Yeah, it felt that way.
It's still no. You're right. People say it all the time, and it's to be fair though. A lot of people who start the game who aren't really into the story kind of still, they agree. I think that's where it largely comes from.
I still agree, even though it sucked initially, and it's also, dude, they've made a lot of improvements though.
Yeah. Have both of you played through the fixed dungeons, the new ones or anything? You should go back.
Not all of them. Yes. I've done like 4 of them, but not all of them.
You should go back and do them, especially the very end on New Game Plus, the final stretch of the game, level 49 through 50. There's some with the hindsight of Endwalker and even Shadowbringers, I'd say some of the changes there are very welcome. I'll say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that I think is actually really cool about the changes is, in a certain way, they kind of bring attention back to things that are going to be relevant again. And you might see the name Sabik floating around. And I think that it's I heard it first from my mod, Alec, one of my friends, that the Heart of Sabik, which was inside of the Ultima weapon, is probably going to be something that we come across in Pandemonium.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. I think that they're kind of like redoing the old stuff because even as players that have been playing for a bit now, we can go back and it brings our attention back to that and makes us go, oh, wait a second, what was that inside of the Ultima weapon? Those kinds of things. So, yeah.
Yeah, we've been wondering about the Heart of Sabik for a very long time. Also mixed with the Evolution lore, there's, of course, the speculation it has something to do with the Ultima that we deal with there, especially given its affinity for absorbing the other beings. You know, we see Belias and everything. So there's a lot of little bits. I mean, that's kind of always been the strength as I'm stringing it about. And even with a retcon here or there, it doesn't feel anything too extreme. At least I don't think it does. But when you got to Heaven's Ward, that must have been... You must have... I think when you got to Heaven's Ward, did you understand what people meant by A Realm Reborn is not the good part?
Yeah, I mean, like... As soon as you step into the first building and you're speaking with like Alphino and you get his first voice cutscene, it's like, okay, like, okay, this is way better than it was yesterday when I was playing A Realm Reborn, and I think that like the music, the storytelling, the way they get you attached to characters, we all know who, it really was. It was like night and day. A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward really are like night and day in my opinion. Which is crazy to say, considering I still think A Realm Reborn is pretty good.
Yeah, I've replayed through A Realm Reborn. I like it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd volunteer to play back through it again. You know, it's funny because I've been like, eventually I want to do another fresh MSQ playthrough after it's been so long that I've forgotten things and I can't really remember how the emotions felt necessarily. I want to play back through it again. And I just sit there finding myself like, but do I want to play A Realm Reborn? I don't know. Probably not. But I think I will.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad.
It's not.
Especially after the reworks.
And then you can fly now? We weren't able to fly when we did it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You sound like a classic WoW player. Let's move on.
Back in my day.
That's what you sound like. Hey, I'm just
back in my day. And I'm saying it's better now.
We didn't have no fucking mountains and shit. We walked everywhere and we fucking liked it.
Uphill both ways in the snow with a boner.
That's a Walter reference. That's a Jeff Dunham reference. I get that. I picked that up. I was going to go that way. I was like, if he doesn't say with a boner, I'm going to say with a boner.
With a boner. I love it, dude.
That's one I haven't heard in a while. Actually, that's not true. I think I said it last week. That's whatever. I don't care. Yeah. So moving on through Heaven's Ward, you get this drastically different style of storytelling. And then a bit of a contentious point in Final Fantasy XIV's story history, Stormblood. It is contentious. People are up and down about whether they like it or not.
Yeah. I got some strong opinions on it.
Yeah, I see. I'm a big Stormblood fan.
Me too.
Yeah, and I get not liking Lise, but you know, I think people a little hard on it. I get it.
I was really hard on Lise initially, and I think that there's just something exceptionally jarring about having two of the scions that you feel like, in my case anyway, that you related to or connected with the least. No pun intended. Having one of them, basically, in a way, it felt like having their identity crushed in front of me. And it felt like I don't really know who you are. Because even though it was benevolent, your deception has made me not really trust you. And it made me just not really like her. And then she kind of had some comments. I felt like she just made, like, dumb comments. Like, just, like, in times where it's like, just be quiet, please. She's trying to make something of it. But as the game progressed, I found an appreciation in that because I think that it's good to just have someone who just has that pureness of heart and just is striving towards the good outcome regardless of whether or not they know exactly how they're going to get there. Lise doesn't always have the path. She doesn't always have the tactic, but she has the will to keep going. And I think that sometimes that's all you need, especially in a game like this. I mean, at the very end of this game teaches us that, if nothing else. And having the friends alongside you is so important. I thought that she had relatively convincing growth You know, the way that she ended as like a commander, I thought was pretty cool. But initially, man, I could not stand her. And if you go back to the streams, you'll know. I mean, I make comments about her all the time. But it took a while to change, and it certainly was one of the hardest character arcs to be convinced of, I guess. But I have found an appreciation for it, even though it's not one of my favorites.
Were you more attached to Ida or Lise after her?
Lise after, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I thought Ida was, to be honest, I sort of found Ida similar to how Lise was initially, which I guess is like consistent at least. I thought it's kind of annoying. She was like that character that didn't ever really know anything but could punch really hard and needed kind of like almost the trope of like having someone needs to explain everything to her in all the situations. Almost like a Riku from Final Fantasy X. She was just kind of ditzy and didn't really know what was going on. But I felt like that changed.
Yeah, see, they do explain it. There's this big problem where they do absolutely explain why she's like that, but that doesn't necessarily make it any better.
Right.
Because
it's still annoying though.
Yeah, because the whole point is that she's pretending to be her sister who did know all these things, and she's absolutely doesn't know anything. So she looks that way, and that's all by design. But it's still like, it's okay.
Doesn't make it a good character though. Necessarily. I think I don't know. I felt like I said earlier, I felt like I certainly wasn't as connected to Papalymo and Ida before, like throughout A Realm Reborn, and even in going towards like losing Papalymo and everything that happened in Heaven's Ward. It was like kind of sad, but I was more sad about the situation between I guess the two of them than losing Papalymo, if that makes sense. I feel like I was more feeling Lisa's pain rather than feeling my own in that specific instance.
That's fair. I don't think it's just Lise that is a bit contentious with Stormblood, though. A bit more of a lingering factor after Stormblood was done was Zenos.
Yeah.
Everyone was not really sure how to feel about him for quite some time, just constantly in the background of everything.
Yeah, I developed a feeling on Zenos pretty early. Zenos scared the shit out of me, dude. Like, Zenos was the first character that made me go like, we might have fucking picked the wrong fight here. Like, this guy is sick, and he scared the shit out of me. And on the stream, it was evident. Anytime he'd come on, like, my body language would shift. Like, I wasn't comfortable because he was so unpredictable and just twisted. And I really like Zenos. I do. I really like Zenos, and I thought it was kind of edgy and kind of goofy. The end, I guess, of Stormblood with the Shinryu situation and how his being on the brink of death is what made him appreciate the moment of life or whatever. I think regardless of those situations, which were a little creepy, I think he ended up being, in the end, like, having him showing up, dude, that was fucking crazy. I look up and I see this big dragon and I'm like, oh my God. Like, as soon as I had the realization of who that was in front of me, I was like, it was insane. I really, really liked Zenos personally as a character. He's actually one of my favorites.
I'm a big fan too. I don't remember Sly if you're a Zenos fan or not. I think you were always kind of neutral. You're like, he's there.
Yeah, he's there. He exists. Like, I like him. I kind of grew more attached to him in the end rather than during all the Alamegan stuff and Doma stuff. Where he was just, because he was just a foil. He was just, there to mess with us and there to fuck with people.
Oh, I did forget that. I forgot that.
Yeah.
He wasn't there to actually do it. Sorry. I'm sorry. Please.
No, you're fine. You're fine. In the end, like, he was our Joker. He was our friend. He was
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. In the end, like he actually meant more than what he's ever meant.
Yeah. I think I would agree with that, regardless of whether or not you like him as a character. I think towards the end, the actual significance of him was obviously much higher. He kind of served as our, well, I haven't finished 4 yet, but I think he's serving as he served as our Golbez.
I'm not going to comment.
Crazy boy who took us to the moon.
No, I'm not going to comment.
Oh, I know I'm going there, but it's in the fucking
I'm not going to
screen.
talk about Golbez. Let me rephrase. We're gonna have to talk about Golbez
we're gonna talk about Golbez.
But I'm not gonna comment about Final Fantasy IV, so you can just see how it plays out.
Yeah, my thing right now, I think he's my father, but I don't know.
His father. I am.
I think he
father.
could be.
Is
my
it just?
father.
It's just
No.
because you just want him. It's just you want to hear him say it.
Well, no, I think like he let me live that one time, and then we did have that reflection where that thing called us their son, but we couldn't identify who it was or what they were doing, and like, I don't know, maybe Golbez could have been like a savant before and like was corrupted or something. Maybe that's why I was destined to become a paladin or some shit. I don't fucking know.
You'll find out. Are you playing it after State of the Realm today?
Actually, yeah, I probably will play some FF4 today. Yeah,
There you
I think
go.
we might go to the moon today. It just depends. I think I just fought the fire fiend.
Rubicante.
Rubicante, dude. The fiends are so cool. Yeah. And as far as the trial series goes, well, I think we kind of might know what that's going to be.
Yeah. I have a theory about that. We'll see. Though.
I would love to hear it.
Well,
Sorry,
we'll talk about it in a little bit. No. Here's the thing. My theory about it, I can't explain to you in full without spoiling 4.
So I can't play 4. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm going to explain. I will say it to you, but I will not explain why. But we'll cover that in a little bit when we get to the more recent stuff.
Okay.
So it's Stormblood. I always like to credit Stormblood for what I think starts the end of Final Fantasy XIV for me. Heaven's Word felt to me like the story that was just the logical next point after A Realm Reborn, whereas Stormblood feels like the start of Shadowbringers and Endwalker. I don't know if you have any sort of similar.
I could agree with that, especially with how they start to bring in Zenos and Emmett Selk and all that, like the way that they start playing with Varys and in the Empire as a whole. Absolutely, like you can tell that it's absolutely like the setup for Shadowbringers. I would agree. And Heaven's Ward did definitely feel like just like to follow A Realm Reborn, like what can we make that's fucking awesome? Dragons and Dragoons, like come on, man, everyone loves that shit. Castles and all that, we love that shit.
Sly, Dragoons. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Say it.
You play a Dragoon?
Is the pig's ass pork?
Yeah. All right. I respect that. Yeah, Dragoon's fun. It was actually my second max level job after Black Mage, I think, was Dragoon. It's a lot of fun. Aren't they gonna rework it, or they're supposed to, or something eventually?
7.0. 7.0.
Yeah. yeah.
Sly, it'll be fun. Maybe you'll have a pet wyvern.
That'd be sick.
That's no. So there's a reason for that, because that's a Final Fantasy 11 rep. That's what all the Final Fantasy 11 people always say.
They keep trying to put Final Fantasy 11 and 14. Leave. There are 2 separate games. Go play 11 if you want to fucking play 11. My God, so many people want me to play 11. Fine, I'll eventually get to 11.
You'll never. Don't you bullshit me, Sly.
I'm not gonna say I'd ever play 11. I don't think I ever will touch it.
I have a thing for it. If somebody does it, I'll play 11. If somebody does it, there's a thing.
What's the thing, Sly? Why don't you tell everyone the thing?
Like a plan, like an
Sly,
idea for
tell
it?
them. Chat, tell me what the thing is.
Nope.
Chat, betray him.
Nope.
Tell me. Chat, you will tell me what the thing is, right? I don't even want him to play it. I don't even actually want him to play it, but
I
I ain't
know in my
gonna say
chat
shit.
what the thing is.
Y'all will not say shit. You just gotta come to the stream to find out.
All right, hey, there it is, hey.
that's a businessman right there.
That's a smart man.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely kind of led into the trilogy, I guess, so to speak. That is the end.
But then that takes us into, and I think one of the big things that gets Stormblood more heavily criticized is that it is sandwiched between Heaven's Ward and, of course, the big topping that is Shadowbringers. If it's all a sandwich and Endwalker's a piece of bread and A Realm Reborn's a piece of bread, Heaven's Ward is like, it's like a layer of meat, like a nice delicious meat. Stormblood's like, for most people, it's like the lettuce and the tomato right? And then Shadowbringers is like the sauce. It's just it covers everything, and
I'm just trying to eat all of it.
Yeah, and then it's just it completes everything, and then Endwalker is a nice
like the sandwich is in front of you. Just fucking eat, my man. he is really fucking hungry. If you couldn't tell, these food.
His stomach's like gurgling. His stream's like, what the fuck was that noise right there? Did you guys hear that?
I'm just sipping on coffee. It's
if
fine.
You need to, dude, just send it.
No, it's fine.
Just do it.
Just go ahead.
I got some dried ass wedding carrot cake right here in front of me. I'm not eating that. I'm not eating that.
Yeah, so Shadowbringers is the sauce. That's what it is.
You got the juice?
That's some good sauce.
I always have
You know the difference between juice and sauce, bro?
I always have the juice.
The juice is like, you can get the juice quick, smooth, like get a rehydration, get it going. Sauce though? Sauce is something special, dude. You can't just recreate the sauce. Sauce is different.
Yeah.
And Shadowbringers is the fucking sauce, dude. And so, honestly, in my opinion, so is Endwalker. I think Endwalker's amazing as well.
Hey, you can't have a sandwich without the top piece of bread. I don't know where this is going.
I guess that's
anymore.
true. What is it if you
still
take the top?
hungry.
What is? Yeah, he's still.
It's an open face sandwich in that case.
Yo, Tina, eat the food. Come on, man. Yeah, Shadowbringers. Shadowbringers was a fucking roller coaster, man. Like that expansion. Like as soon as I got to the Katana Ravel and I saw that shit on the wall, I started losing my mind. And so was the chat because I was like, "Those are definitely Asians. Those are like Alagons." And the chat's just Pepe laughing in the chat because I'm like thinking that the followers of Hydaelyn were the Alagons, and I just fucking rode on that for so long, and then it started to deteriorate. I was like, maybe it wasn't the Alagons then. Maybe it wasn't them. Maybe it wasn't them. And then Emmett Selk's like, yeah, I made them. And I was like, oh my fucking God. Like, my mind shattered. And I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, the Asians are, like, the Alagons are Asians. The Garleans are Asians. Everybody's Asians. Like, what do we do? And I just, I got so lost in all that.
Pyro, let me ask you, where's your Charlie Day, like, red thread wall? I don't see it behind you. Is it somewhere else in the house?
I got room for it. I got room for it, but I don't have one. People said I should get one. They say I should do it. I'm thinking about maybe I should just fucking do it. I'm thinking about changing the office up. I don't know if I like the shelf right here and this space right here, so I might do some stuff.
So instead, you'll have a whiteboard with crackpot theories on it.
I got some room. Maybe like I don't know, right there. Or something. Yeah, some crackpot theories, like a picture of Hydaelyn's ass or something. Like,
you mean
how to get the mommy crystal booty? I don't know. Someone tell me. I'm trying to figure it out.
Oh God.
So is all of Twitter, according to my trendings.
Well, hey, they know what's up. They know what's up.
So does Sly. Don't get Sly started. He's still trying to find a Garuda bust for his wall.
Yo. Go to Etsy, bro. You might be able to find some crazy shit or someone that would make one.
I'm content with a pin. Okay, thank you, Clinkhorse.
I'm just content with my daddy Selk right there. And I don't know if you noticed, but the camera chooses him all the time.
It's a good decision. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. It knows. It's like, hold on, just get out. All right. that was a really convincing. I like that. But yeah, Shadowbringers is even after Endwalker has come out, a lot. Shadowbringers ends up being the favorite amongst most assuredly because of your boy right behind you. But there's so many elements to Shadowbringers that really kind of undo everything before. It's the ultimate way of saying you were wrong or you didn't know everything all along without making you feel like you were an idiot the entire time.
Yeah, I think when they start to actually explain how the rejoinings and everything like that fully works, and you start to when they expose the cosmology is the biggest thing, and how the elements actually work and how light and darkness actually function is like the biggest revelation. One that I wanted so bad from World of Warcraft. I wanted so bad to learn about the truth of light and darkness and how they affected time and space and fate and those types of things. And to get that in Final Fantasy was so satisfying, I guess is the best word that I can say. So satisfying to get the big revelation moment of like, holy shit, there it is. That's the That's the big thing we didn't know, because that it always felt like it was right around the corner in World of Warcraft, but we just never quite got there as far as having those kinds of moments. So yeah, that was extremely exciting for me, and one that I took particular interest in and tried to understand, because even with the game trying to explain it to you, it's still kind of difficult to piece together, like, what's the difference between, like, being a warrior of light and, like, what's the blessing of light, and what are the, like, what is the echo, like, how are those different, or how are they the same? And so I do still wish maybe I could have paid a little more attention or something. Maybe this is on me, but I wish the game broke that down a little bit better for you still in Shadowbringers. But I think that they still gave it to you in a way that by the end, like, you know what's going on. Even if you don't figure it out in the early stages and understand exactly what they're saying, by the end, they've broken it down to an extent of, like, yeah, we're basically crashing worlds into other worlds with calamitous events. Like, good luck, motherfuckers. Like, because we're trying to bring back the past, you know, and like, I think that, and after this, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. Like, I think that the way that they tie in Emmett just seeking restoration of something that he truly just dearly loves and dearly misses, and he's so warped and he's tempered, but he's so warped over this incredible amount of time, these thousands and thousands of years, that he's kind of lost himself. But he still has this little tiny glimmer, this little piece, this tiny minuscule fraction of him that's saying, maybe there's a chance, maybe there's a chance. And the fact that he finds that in us, and you have that moment towards the end where, like, you realize how similar you really are, and how the pain has warped how you see things. And the empathy that they're able to build with him as a character is stunning. Ishikawa is a fucking Gigakawa legend. Like, it was one of, dude, it's just one of the best. He's probably got to be he might just be like the best villain of any game I've ever played. And because it's a villain that hurts to see go, because you just understand, or you think anyway, that you understand the pain that they went through. And that's why, and it doesn't excuse what they've done, because they did kind of genocide a couple planets and all that. Then, you know, little things here and there, but it makes you understand, like, how emotion, especially people that didn't fully understand how to handle those emotions, as Hermes shows us, how it can destroy them, and how they need support, they need others, they need help, and the Ascians worked in a way that did not benefit them. So
yeah, Emmett, and I'd say that a large majority of the Ascians in general, they struggle with emotion. It's like the one thing they kind of never get, and it's why Dynamis, you know, they literally can't understand emotion.
It's a classical god trope. Like, they don't get it.
Yeah. And so the constant struggle from, you know, the whole summoning of Zodiark is kind of built on those principles, and it just forces them to kind of carry them through. But yeah, Emmett seems like he wants to understand it, at the very least, at most points. He only feels it for the world that he had before, but not having the world is kind of what teaches him that and forces you down that journey. Whereas you have had that the entire time you've been playing, and you've never, like, you have a, you know, Heavensward you go in, and, you know, you've only got a couple of allies left, and that's kind of the closest it ever comes at any point. Right. So it's such a complex thing to think about with Emmett, and that's why he's so compelling, because it ends up just not being about him. It ends up being about him. It ends up being about Hythlodaeus, who even just the shade of him in Shadowbringers before even getting to Endwalker is compelling, because he shows you that Emmett has that degree of compassion, how much he leaves Hythlodaeus intact in the fake Amarot. So,
I think it's nice that Endwalker has a wonderful way of reflecting on that, because I think in the moment, you don't really understand. You see this echo of this person, but you don't really know who they are to you or who they were to Emmett. And I think that I really loved how they built upon, like, I can't remember who it was that says it. It's probably Elidibus, but someone that says that Emmett was ever a slave to sentiment. That might have even, I can't remember who that was, but, you know, it's true. it's true. And getting to see, like, I guess getting to see his own journey and, like, coming to acceptance, I guess, was instrumental, I guess, in accepting what might happen to us at the end of it all. Like, and I started to kind of say that to my chat, was like, we might be fighting for a day that we don't get to see. And that's going to hurt if that is how it ends. But Emmett's kind of showing me that, like, sometimes, like, not in how he fought, but sometimes keeping your will and fighting on is just the only thing that you can do. And you just have to trust that in the end that it's going to work out. And thanks to people like Vana, it did. So,
What about you, Sly? You Emmett simping over here? What's going on? You with us on that?
I did a little. I did. Well, at the end of Shadowbringers, I kind of felt it there, and then once we went through Elpis, I felt it even more.
it just builds. They're so good at building.
It just built. So it built like heavy in Elpis, but as we were going on that journey with Emmett, I mean, he was a part of the crew. He was like the Heavensward crew. He was kind of like, he was there. He was our boy, but he wasn't our boy. He was kind of fucked up in the head, but we all knew what we had to do in the end anyway. So we knew, like, in the end, we were going to come to blows. But at the same time, it's like, he was a part of us. As far as, like, you know, I would say shared history and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely kind of felt it more so in Walker than I did in Shadowbringers.
I really like what you say about a shared history, because I think once you realize, like, what you are, like, it really starts to sink in as far as, like, this didn't happen, like, this happened to me. Yeah. I'm literally I'm the result of the action. And I think you start to develop, like, that sense of, like, I did know you, like, we knew each other. Like, this was, and the characters are they're so well voiced now in the game, and they're so animated that you like, they're very much like, you know, not quite like real people, but you know, as close as you can get in video game storytelling, I would say. And they have their mannerisms, and they have their, you know, their things that they do, and I think you start to get connected with them. And one thing that this game does, one thing that this game does really well is that they connect you with characters, but sorry, I'm like idle camming right now. My stuff's disconnected. They connect you with characters throughout multiple expansions, and they don't just like, oh, Estinian's cool for Heavensward because he was a dragoon, and then he's gone. Like, no, Estinian's still with us. Like, he's still a badass. He still has techniques and skills and things. And something that WoW didn't take advantage of was that very thing of, like, oh, we only use you just because you're good here, and then we just kind of forget about you. And so I think you get a lot more attached to characters in this game because of that. They're with you for so long. By the end, Alphino and Alice, I was just a wreck when I lost them. Like, it's just a wreck. So there's a reason for that.
Even if you know deep down, you're like, they're going to come back in 5 minutes, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, I'm a Zem, and it doesn't end like this. There's no shot, but, you know, and it's Final Fantasy. But
yeah. No body. Though Zenos teaches us body still doesn't mean.
Yeah. People are still like, he's coming back, right?
Oh God, yeah. I wasn't even. I was thinking more in Stormblood when he cut his own neck, but yeah, no, we still have.
That was kind of intense.
Yeah, that's certainly a way of describing that. bare minimum. But yeah, no, also now, even nowadays, when we're looking forward to 6.2 and on, there's a lot of talk of that. But I mean, that's kind of thing. You almost can't talk about Shadowbringers without kind of just looping in Endwalker, because Endwalker is the logical conclusion. Well, not the logical conclusion, but it's the factual conclusion to the events.
Logical. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is. It's not even about being logical. It's just it's been factually told it is.
It's just it is what it is.
So there's almost no taking anything in Shadowbringers in a vacuum at all. No. Whereas in Heaven's Ward and Stormblood, you kind of have to think back. Shadowbringers is very recent memory by the time you get into Endwalker. So every event that took place there becomes far more central to the core theme of Endwalker.
True.
And but that doesn't mean that Endwalker kind of rests on its laurels. It really does dive back into every single thing that it possibly can, literally towards the very end, when every side quest you have or haven't done is present inside of one cutscene. I don't know how many variations on that cutscene there are, but there are a lot of them.
I was when people were telling me how many people were missing from it after the amount of content that I had done, I was shocked. I was like, really? I missed that many? They're like, dude, there's crafting stuff, there's side quests you didn't do, you have no idea. There's so many missing, and I'm like, that's amazing. I kind of feel like I'm missing out, but I didn't do it. It wouldn't make sense. So I like that they weren't just there for no reason.
Yeah.
By the way, are you a crafter?
I have not even leveled one crafter. Not one single one. Not a single. But people are asking me to all the time, so I want to. I'm sure I'm probably going to do fishing first because everyone says it's addicting and really fun.
Don't talk to me about fishing.
It is. It is.
What's your favorite crafter? Can you tell me? Because everyone doesn't have an opinion.
In terms of story, all of them. All the crafters have really good.
They have good stories.
Really good stories.
Yeah. Every single one of them.
Especially in Endwalker, when I was doing the Studium quest and they were talking about the New World and barbecue. I'm like, wait, what? The New World has fucking barbecue? Are you fucking serious? We're gonna get some brisket in the New World.
Let's do some wings, to the New World. Or not some wings, but some ribs.
And the fact that we're going I really think in my heart of hearts we're going to the New World soon in our journey.
I think a new continent would make sense soon.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, the Aetherology story is really good. And the Star, I forget what it was called. But yeah, there are some really good fucking stories in crafting.
Damn.
They come together at the end too, which I don't think they did in Shadowbringers. But
they have a culminating thing at the end?
Mm-hmm. In Endwalker,
Get the fuck out of here. No way. Shit!
Bro,
Shit!
It is so fun. Crafting is so fucking easy now. He's not gonna do it until we get the fucking crafting beast tribal quests.
We also have tribal quests, that are entirely crafting and gathering.
I'm supposed to have a life, dude. I've said this before on show. I'm supposed to have a life.
Well,
I have a wife and I got friends that want to hang out sometimes, and sometimes
you don't want to hang out with them in game, apparently. Listen, but like you said, it's a tangible end goal. It's great.
It is another thing to do, and I mentioned earlier, obviously, kind of getting bored, running out of things to do. But then I do think that there's sometimes a level. I think that's just me. I think there's a level of you realize there really is a lot of shit I could go do that I've never even
fucking
tried.
Theme park.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's much more RPG like than WoW is by a fucking mile. It's not even close. WoW crafting sucks balls.
Well, for once you get into the 60s and 70s, the tribal quests, even just doing them daily, some of them don't even make you craft. Some of them are go to a point and talk to something and then come back. And it's wait, I thought this was a crafting quest.
But that'll let you get XP for other classes though, right? Or did you have to do it as a crafter?
You have to do it as a crafter. But it's you can level as a crafter just by doing that. So there's some really low effort crafting and gathering leveling.
Crafters get their own relics and shit too, right?
Don't do those. Don't do those.
But they look cool.
You're gonna hate yourself.
But
okay?
if I want to get Bayergot's hammer,
then
get
you're
the
gonna hate
thick
yourself.
thighs. Okay, I'm trying to get down with the thickness, and
He's not. The hammer's not gonna make you thick. And don't worry, we got the relic. We got the combat relics with Godbert. He'll get you thick.
dude, I'm excited for those. Ooh, I think they're gonna probably be sick, but that means I have to probably finish ARR Hildebrand at some point.
A.R. Hildebrand's probably the peak Hildebrand until Endwalker. Stormblood's really good. Heaven's Word's mixed bag. I think I really like the Heaven's Word one, but the A Realm Reborn is really peak Hildebrand. So
It's really silly. The face shit gets me, dude. Like, the face. He just looks at the camera. Just all stupid as fuck looking. I just love it. I love how he like. I love that at the fucking Azura. What's she called? The Azure Lady, or what's she called?
are you talking about the
Blue.
Anyway, the lady in blue. I think it's during that like he dresses up as a woman, and he's like using his deduction. He's like using his deduction skills to figure out like who the person is, and he's like totally fucking right on who it is. But everyone's like, that doesn't make any sense. It's preposterous. And then it's that fucking guy, because like you're playing through and you're like, Hildebrand, you're such an idiot. And then it ends up that he's right. I thought that was so funny, dude. That was like probably my favorite part so far, was that he was just being Hildebrand and somehow figured it out.
I'm not gonna lie. In Stormblood, for some reason, he's much smarter. But like he's not. But
Yeah?
he's correct more. For some reason, he's just like, well, obviously it's this, and I'm like, you're not supposed to figure that out. What? You're not
It's like more ironically correct.
I don't even know
Maybe.
if it's ironic.
I don't
He
even know if it's
actually
ironic.
deduces some things. I'm just like,
Not sure hit him with far too many bombs.
Yeah.
It actually
so
that time.
So that doesn't end after ARR. Then that keeps going. Good.
Heaven's Word and Stormblood. Shadowbringers, he has a cameo, and that is it. I don't know if you know about his cameo in Shadowbringers.
Assuming, so I know that there's a card for who I'm assuming is his daughter or something like that. So I don't actually know yet, but there's a TT card is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I know.
I don't know who that is, but it might be his daughter, might be whoever. But I don't know anything about the Shadowbringer stuff. Actually, I'm completely unspoiled.
Well, I mean, like I said, he takes a break in Shadowbringers, so he only
It's
has
just not.
Yeah, he's not there.
But isn't the Hildebrand quest? Oh,
no, it's an Endwalker.
oh,
Yeah, the Endwalker one is. I'm not talking.
oh,
about
yeah. Oh, there isn't one for Shadowbringers.
Yeah,
is
there's
what
no.
you're
There's
saying.
he takes a break.
Oh, sorry.
He's
So I
completely.
was misunderstanding what you were
He just makes
saying.
an appearance.
Yeah, he has a cameo.
Gotcha.
He just.
Gotcha. I forgot that there literally wasn't a quest line for it. My bad.
Yeah, no, in Shadowbringers, in the 5.3 dungeon, the Hero's Gauntlet, sometimes you find him as a warrior of light tucked away in the corner.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I don't think that happened. I think I've only run Heroes like twice, but I don't think I would have. I don't think I got that. I think chat would have said something.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like those kinds of things. The little random event things like with Omega and Alpha. Like I love those little things in the game that make you feel like the things that you did aren't just forgotten, but you might run into it again. And it, I don't know. It's cute, but it's also makes you feel like you make more of an impact on the world. As like a side note. But.
Yeah, there's Alpha and Omega have a pet gorilla now.
Yeah, I'm caught up with Alpha and Omega. It's it made me cry. Again.
Yeah, they just fucking throw close in the distance though, and they're like, "You son of a fucking
Dude,
bitch!" I was already weakened, and then they're just like, "Whisper."
Did you cry immediately off the ship?
As soon as I hear the theme, I'm just like,
Yeah. Dude, no. When you first got to UT, did you cry like right off the ship?
"Oh no, not right
No.
away." No, it was gradual building.
It was for me. It was like a bit further in as you went through everybody's spiel.
Yeah,
and-
Graha really is the pushing point. I think.
As soon as I got off the ship, dude, and I heard the fucking music kick in, and I realized what we were looking at, I just fucking started crying. I just lost it, dude. Like I just something about just the absolute devastation that Medion had to witness, and like that realization of how much catastrophe has happened. Like the weight of all of that just came raining down on me through the notes of the song, and it just fucking wrecked me. It was probably one of the most emotional and meaningful and memorable moments of any game that I've ever played. I don't think I will ever forget looking up and just crying. It was amazing.
Medion just needed a fucking hug. That's all she needed.
Medion.
She needed a lot of hugs.
Averted,
Poor thing.
we could have averted so much if you just hugged the child. My God.
You can never prepare anybody for what she saw, and I think that's just what hurts so bad. Is she is basically just a child, and she can't comprehend it. The ancients couldn't have comprehended it, and they didn't, and it just, man, Endwalker's story is so fucking good. Anyway, yeah,
I still see her collective, the collective face when she first starts getting the messages back in Elpis, and her face just goes like Sonic, like it's a fucking Sonic spooky pasta or something on YouTube.
Yeah, yep. Kind of scared the shit out of me initially, and I was like, okay, time to light that thing on fire. Towards the end, I was like, I'm gonna kill you.
Dude, as soon as we got to Elpis, they do a quick like once over of Hermes and Medion before you've met them. I'm like, oh, so she's the final boss. Like instantly, I knew. I saw her. I was like,
really?
I could just tell because her voice was in the Endwalker trailer. And she said something really ominous. So as soon as I saw, she's the final boss. Also, I played enough RPGs. If I see a little bird girl, I know she's the final boss.
She's. Yeah, that's pretty fair. That's good. I when I first saw her because I had seen little shots of the concept art of Hydaelyn, so I kind of knew sort of what she looked like. Unfortunately, I'd kind of been spoiled on that. But, whatever. It wasn't like a big thing. She looked almost like angelic, like maybe she would have wings. And so when I saw Medion, I thought, is that Hydaelyn? Like, is that the root of where Hydaelyn comes from? Is like that thing going to become Hydaelyn? So that was actually my initial thought, especially when she's like, I want to hear your bubble, hear your thoughts, feel your, all those different things. I was like, holy shit, she just said like a Hydaelyn quote. Like, what the fuck? That's got to be Hydaelyn, right? So then when it ended up being that Vana sacrificed herself, I thought that I had a feeling. Well, I mean, we had known that Vana would become that. I had a feeling that Vana and her were like going to merge or something like that, but I didn't really know. So I was kind of, I wouldn't say, I guess I was a little surprised, but I also really enjoyed the kind of Pandora's box kind of trope that she is of. She and Hermes of kind of unlocking hope, but at the same time unlocking utter despair that comes with it. And Medion was, I like Medion. I think it was sick. I think the whole thing was really cool.
Yeah, she was a little contentious. People who, not everyone's always a fan of the big random cosmic threat in the final act. It's a pretty big Final Fantasy trope. It's a pretty big RPG trope.
I'm so fucking used to that in SMT. Like,
I love it.
We're so used to getting shit in like the final act.
I love it, dude.
You don't get like Yahweh until like you're right there. You don't get Shekinah until you're. We're so.
That's kind of how Destiny 2 is right now. Like, I don't know if you guys do you play Destiny 2 or have you ever followed
I've stayed
it?
away. I stopped following after the Leviathans. That's right at the beginning of Destiny.
Levy was so good, dude. Yeah, Levy was sick. It's like the story is actually, I would say right now, that the best that it's ever been narratively. Storytelling wise, it's actually really good, but they're pulling one of those things right now where the darkness is coming, and it's very much the grand cosmic threat thing that comes in at the very end. That's not to say that Destiny was not already chock full of cosmic threats, because it's all science fiction and science fantasy, I guess. But yeah, it's just funny you say that, because it's just yet another game that I think is really going in that direction of here's the universe-ending threat type thing. So.
Yeah, Final Fantasy is just known for that. I mean, a lot of people like to say that Final Fantasy gets really convoluted in the later ones, but I'd like to remind you that the original game that came out 35 years ago is about a 2,000-year time loop where a guy sends himself back. Him and his four fiends send each other backwards and forwards through time. It's Final Fantasy 1. There's almost...
Is that spoils, bro? I haven't played it.
It's almost nothing. Go to space.
But it's been there since the beginning.
Yeah. It's 35-year-old spoiler right there.
Yeah, I'm a little late. It's a spoiler older than me.
Hey, me too. Only by a few years, but that's fine. Don't worry, I'm leaving Final Fantasy IV intact for you. That's a game that has an actual story. So there's no the first Final Fantasy, there's like no story. They drop something on you at the end just to give you purpose for everything.
Otherwise, it's just kind of
yeah. I mean, it's a late '80s RPG. What are you gonna do?
What do you expect?
Yeah. Although they do a pretty good job in 2 for story, and 4. 4 is the first really good story though. So
yeah, that's a lot of people requested for, and now that I'm playing through it, I realize how many references in Endwalker are from 4. Like, holy shit.
The simple fact that Shadowbringers is a Dark Knight and you become a Paladin in Endwalker is in itself a Final Fantasy IV reference.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
It's layered.
It's cool. Like the towers, the Loporrits, the fucking the music, like I went into like a certain area, they're like, "Do you recognize this music?" I'm like, "Shit." I'm like getting backwards nostalgia. Like I'm getting nostalgia for the modern game while I'm playing the old one. This is fucking weird.
Yeah, there's and to think they said that they actually haven't done very much Final Fantasy IV reference up to this point. And I agree, given I've played through it. And they said it's about to get much more Final Fantasy IV for the rest of Endwalker.
Yeah, I would imagine, considering who they're introducing. But I mean, you have both the towers, like you have literally the main enemy. You have the lords. Like you've got, yeah. There, I don't know. Okay, I gotta finish the game. I gotta finish.
You really do. I'm trying so hard right now.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mind spoiling Final Fantasy 1, but I'm not gonna spoil 4.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that because, yeah, I'm going to play that today, I think. I might not even play 14 today. I might just go right into 4.
I think you should.
You got me fucked up now. Like, you got me thinking that there's some big shit at the end of it. Like, I need to know. So
you should know.
Look. Here's another 4 reference. Oh, you can't see it because I'm,
Yeah.
But on my desk here in the FC house, I've got the Magus sisters. That was another one. I thought that they were, like, from 10 originally, and little did I know that they were not. They went
that
back
happens
way
to a
further
lot of
than that.
people. Yeah, that's like people who think Final Fantasy VII's the first one,
Cloud? You mean like the original Final Fantasy character? Not even a Warrior of Light or anything?
Yeah, everyone, the first ever Final Fantasy character, Cloud.
I've just got a Buster sword. Like,
weird how they started with 7, but it worked out.
Cooler.
It worked out.
Have you played the remake?
Yes, I love
you guys.
remake.
Did you play it? Yeah, was it sick?
Yeah.
Is the second part out yet?
No, it comes out in next winter, not this winter.
Next winter.
Which a lot of people don't understand means end of 2023, early 2024. You know how many people are like, bro, we're gonna have the next part of 7 in the
September.
next yeah. They think, oh. I was like, no, that's the Crisis Core is this winter, and they're like, so this year, and I was like, winter is until March. Okay.
Yeah.
It starts December 21st, doesn't end December 31st. Okay.
Fall is really like your late year months when you think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry about the camera.
No, it's fine. It's trust me, that is the least of the technical problems we've had on this show.
Good.
Let me tell you.
Good. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like Endwalker was fall. It was December.
Yeah. I'd be okay with that. My birthday is in December, dude. Endwalker came out 4 days after my birthday. Mm-hmm. And actually, did I finish Shadowbring? I don't remember. Anyway, it was some kind of really good timing, but I can't recall what it was.
I like this. Spring is January to May, summer's June to August, fall's August to December 24th, and winter is Christmas to New Year's. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude, at this point, we had snow in May, and it's going to be 105 degrees for the next 8 days here. Have you guys been living through that shit already?
Mm-hmm. Sly, how is the heat?
I have AC.
So do I.
So do I.
But
So
I'm going to a concert on Sunday, and I'm afraid I'm going to die. So
You better bring some water.
I'm gonna see Rise Against and The Used.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm fucking excited. Rise Against is one of my favorite bands ever.
I've been to like no concerts in my life.
Their new album is sick.
Mel made me go to a Perfect Circle concert in Vegas, and I was like, "Who's that?" And she's like, "I hate you."
Yeah, I don't know who that is either.
They're apparently like it's like an offshoot. Not to sidetrack, but it's my show, so I don't give a shit. the guy. It's like a side band for him. Like he's actually the guy who runs that is part of another band that's bigger. I think.
I think the guy that sings for Dance Gavin Dance does that. He has like Tillian, and then he has Dance Gavin Dance.
Tool.
Like
the guy who is in charge also does Tool. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a much bigger band.
Yeah. So his Perfect Circle is like his side project that he was doing. Yeah. Maynard James Keenan. There you go. That's it. I don't know anything about.
How would you know that?
I'm useless. I'm useless. I'm going to a Backstreet Boys concert in like a couple months. I'll go with that.
Are you actually?
Yeah.
Are you lying to me?
No.
That's lit. I'd go.
I just want to see the Black Keys again. That's been my favorite concert ever since ever. I just want to see the Black Keys again.
There you go. August 7th.
What genre is that?
Black Keys they're kind of like rock, but kind of like bluesy too.
Ooh, I like that. Did they mix in like a lot of like brass and stuff?
Not really. Okay, I mean,
okay.
It's really just a guy, and it really started out like the guy is the guitar and his friend who was like on drums, and that was it. And
okay.
That's all it fucking took. But yeah, they're good.
That's sick.
All right.
Cool. I think yeah.
No, where are you going? One last.
I was just gonna say, I think my favorite people that I've seen live is Revolution. That's like reggae mostly. They just have good stage presence. They just have. I mean, their last tour was literally called the Good Vibes Tour, but they have good vibes. Good.
I'm so useless
anyway.
when it comes to concerts. Like I said,
They're kind of expensive, and you have to go outside for it. So
yeah, that's way out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Way out of my comfort zone. All right, yeah. So largely, we've caught up with all the major points. We've kind of danced around as we've talked about the various expansions and praised the various villains and whatnot. You know, you obviously topped it off with Meteon. After all the emotion we went through with all the expansions, especially coming towards Endwalker, we're now at a bit of a crossroads when it comes to Final Fantasy XIV. Because after you finish Endwalker, there is an MMO that happens afterwards. Which a lot of people didn't understand, actually, when Endwalker was like unveiling. Everyone's like, oh, so it's over. It's like, no, it's the end of the first story. We got
some more.
Yeah, is the anime you watch, did it like end when you beat the first villain? Like, did it like come on? One Piece is like, oh, we're on our last arc now. It'll be like, oh, cool. So like, how long? Yeah, like another 10 years.
We got lots left. Don't worry.
Yeah, or Attack on Titan. It's our final season, part 1. It's our final season, part 2.
Part 7.
they just don't know how to do it.
We just finished Frieza. Time for the Cell Saga, as someone in my chat said.
There you go. Yeah. So
and we go to Boo.
So people are a bit apprehensive because there's, of course, I think people have kind of become attuned to the idea of the bigger, badder, bad as the expectation, and it's just how it happened over the years, even in Final Fantasy XIV. But we're starting something brand new that isn't brand new. And I don't know if you have any perspective on how you feel about that going into 6.1, knowing you need to know everything up to 6.0. But this is supposed to be at the same time kind of like a fresh start story-wise.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting, I guess, I think that if you want to tell a story, stories have endings. And I think that endings, as we know, lead to new beginnings. And I think that being able to, convert through the process of a powerful ending into a refreshing beginning is an amazing thing to be able to do. And I think that if you can do it effectively, it's the best way that you can reinvigorate players and not lose a bunch of players, who are, like a lot of people talk about like WoW 2.0, like would they wipe all the mounts? Like, would you lose all your progress? Like all these things, right? That's not a discussion with Final Fantasy XIV because the way the story is being utilized to continue, I think is done properly. They did what no one ever does and actually ends their fucking story. Like Netflix does it all the fucking time where they'll come out with like a new show that has like 2 dope seasons. They never finish it, right? Like you see it in other games as well, where like they'll write like a series of games, but it'll never actually reach the end. They did it with really popular TV shows where they drag it out so long that by the time you get to the end, no one even fucking cares anymore. So I think that Square Enix and what they've done with 14, they've taken advantage of the ability to convert and try to rebirth. Now, since I haven't played, well, I hadn't up until now played 4, everything going forward feels new to me and it feels really interesting. So as far as like anything being, some people will refer to it as recycled, I don't really care about. I don't have any opinions on. It's new to me, as it will be for a lot of other players. But I think that's part of why like I love Endwalker so much. Is it felt like, wow, like we got a conclusion, we got an answers, so to speak. You know, we got to see it to the end. So I guess that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, recycled. It's not like we don't have examples of them taking prior Final Fantasy stuff and using it. I mean, Crystal Tower is, you know, right from 3.
I don't know anything about that.
You don't know anything about that, but I mean, it's incorporated into 14. Does it feel like it's unoriginal? Does it feel like it doesn't belong? Like, does it even come off as something that is recycled? Like, even with no prior knowledge, it's...
Nope.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. For a new player, you would have no idea. And so I don't agree with the recycled thing. Like, if you take familiar characters and build a new story with them, who gives a shit? Like, as long as you're not literally just remaking the same thing, then it's fine. Yeah. Golbez obviously isn't taking us to the moon, so
we've already been there.
We're doing something else, right? So obviously, what was done with this character, at least in that respect, is going to be different.
So I'm just prefacing this by saying this isn't anything about 4, but I will say this. Yoshi P has stated that the moons of the other shards may be important in the future. So he may take us to a moon. It's possible.
Okay. Could be a moon on the 13th. Maybe it's like a refuge from the shattered world. There
you go. See? Get the old mind going. Get the old noggin going. There's plenty of possibilities still.
You never know. He did also say, to clarify for chat, I think, they did also say that the remaining fragments of Zodiac that were present in those moons are all gone now.
Yeah.
There's no, that's not relevant at all. So we're not going to be going to these moons for Zodiac stuff, if anyone is like wondering about that. At least we shouldn't be. That's what they said.
In theory, yeah. Unless he's lying, which he could do.
You never know.
You never know. Yoshi P could be a liar.
He's usually pretty good, from what I can tell anyway, he's usually pretty good about saying just enough to give you the little drippings of the hint, but not
his ass.
Yep, but not quite enough to figure it out.
Yeah, I like how when everyone kept asking him, is Zenos dead? He refused to say yes. He said, I mean, his body's right there. It's like, come on.
Like, we saw him breathe his last breath. I'm like, what the fuck does that
mean? Didn't he say something about a minion? Like, if he doesn't show up if he shows up as a minion, then that means like we're
really done with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did say that. Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Maybe you know.
Sure.
Is there any other Reaper who has the Echo or the Resonant like him?
So you're asking because the Reaper job quests would have to be.
Is he the only Reaper that has like the Echo or the Resonant?
Mm-hmm. As far as we know, that's been shown in the lore. The only other Reaper would be our job quest giver, and they most assuredly are not an Echo.
I just wonder if that could have any effect on his ability to like dominate that fucking thing and like literally take it over, rather than like making a pact with this Void Scent, being like able to like almost like an Arthas like Lich King type thing, like fighting for control and like getting full control. That'd be kind of interesting. But just a thought, you know.
I don't know if his Void Scent's Ner'zhul. I don't know.
Probably not. We need a Helm of Domination in this game.
No, they don't need it in WoW anymore.
Yeah, they reforged it.
Yeah, I know.
Reforged it.
I know. They didn't need to, but they did. Actually, they kind of did need to in reality.
Yeah, they kind of did too. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of neat, but also like, whatever.
Yeah, it depends on how neat you thought Sylvanas dicking all over Bolvar was in the first place.
Well, when I started thinking about like she's got the power of this entity of death, like it makes sense she fucks on him. Like if that helmet's power is derived from this entity and she is directly serving said entity, it would make sense maybe that she's a little more powerful than the helmet makes Bolvar. But Yeah.
WoW lore is fun to talk about occasionally.
Yeah, it is.
It can be.
I have no clue about it.
WoW lore is actually like I know so fucking much about it that I can have a casual conversation about it without having to look at references. I'm not there with Final Fantasy though. I need to.
It doesn't help that Final
I'd
Fantasy references can, as I've said with the Crystal Tower, come across, a ton of other games.
True, and they're also mostly present in the game rather than in other books.
Yeah.
Which
there's
WoW
only,
has
I think there's only one book that's great that Final Fantasy 14 has that legitimately has something that's only available in a book. And there are 4 Tales of stories that were released exclusively as part of a book. One of them is for Zenos, and I don't
really.
I don't remember. Yeah, the Chronicles of Light. That one has 4 stories. I think you can find them. I think you can find them online. You might be able to find the Chronicles of Light online.
Okay.
I don't even know if that was released. Yeah, I think that was released in English.
I believe it was.
Re-releasing it in October. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
I wonder if I pre-ordered.
I might have to snag that.
Yeah.
Can you pre-order it on Amazon?
Someone says the book is up on Amazon. Round of reprints. Yeah, Chronicles of Light on Amazon. Yeah, I think I pre-ordered that.
Is it a hard copy or a?
Yeah, I think so. Or you mean like a softback or a hard copy? I don't know. It might be a softback.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. Softback or hardback. Yeah.
I think it might be a softback. I don't know.
This top one, the $25 one, looks like it's a hardcover.
Oh, there you go. First one was a hardback. There you go. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, it's backwards. Does it read? It reads backwards like a Japanese.
I guess so.
Weird. Or not weird, but
No, it doesn't. Okay, that's fine.
It doesn't? Oh.
Maybe the picture is just of the Japanese one.
Yeah, the way it's pictured, the binding is on the right side.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, that's a fun little one.
This.
Yeah, that's the only thing they've ever released that's like exclusively in book format. Is just because most of the stories in there are the ones that are on the Lodestone, and then there's a few bonus ones that are in there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm grabbing that. I had $23 on my Amazon credit, so
Well, it cost you $2.
It was $1.79. Yeah,
There you go.
Let's go.
Yeah, there you go.
I spent way more than that on WoW books. I'll tell you that, dude.
We actually should be getting more Tales of next month is the anniversary of the game, and that's when they release them.
Ooh.
So we might get Tales of the End.
Let's get Tales of Aglia. Yo, can we talk about that, bro?
Yeah, I mean we're on 6.1 at this point, so now we're talking about going into the future of Final Fantasy 14. They have to keep the story compelling while also, starting from scratch. It can't be that grand endeavor like we just had with Endwalker. So one of those elements is actually Aglia, who, by the way, it was written not by Ishikawa. It was written by somebody who was previously doing Beast Tribe quests and Shadowbringers. And he was given the chance to write his own story for the 24-man. And so they're kind of bringing him up, and he had a hell of a start, let me tell you.
Yeah. Dude, Aglia is really cool. It's already my favorite Alliance raid, and there's only one section of it. It's thematically, I love it, dude.
Wait.
That's like
because we've already stressed enough how we felt about this. How'd you feel about Yorha?
Yorha as in Nier?
Yeah. If you did it. Did you?
I did.
Did you do? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, how'd you feel about it?
I played Nier Automata for about 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I disliked it, it's a lot of time. And I wanted to play something else. And I liked the theme, so there was a little bit of familiarity there. The dwarf questline leading up to it is like one of the most unbearable questlines ever, in my opinion. I don't think that it's funny. I don't think that it's clever. I just think that it's annoying, and I don't even remember what happened really in it. The raid itself, pretty sick. The actual fights are pretty sick in my opinion. The music, also pretty sick. The glamour, mostly pretty sick. One of my machinist glams comes from there. It's like a ammo vest. It looks fucking sweet. It's got like a cloak and everything. It's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as investment in the narrative, 0. I just didn't care at all.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm really glad that
Shadowbringers.
I'm really glad that by the time 5.25 came around, Shadowbringers finally released their 24-man series with Bozja. That was great. I don't know why they didn't release one in 5.1, 3, and 5, but it's okay. They got a late start. It's okay. That's fine.
Yeah. Bozja's 24-man, I think. Yeah, I mean it's more compelling story-wise by a mile. That whole scenario, like with Messia, I really loved. I really like the Brynhildr storyline. Yeah, my two least favorite alliance raids are definitely Nier and Ivalice. Ivalice, I think first off, I was having a bad day that day, so I wasn't really in the mood to read through a bunch of fucking dialogue.
It's a lot.
So it's a lot, and I think it just felt super drawn out, and I was trying to voice act the characters without realizing how much dialogue I was really getting myself into. So I just kind of stopped paying attention. I was just trying to get through it. So I actually can't remember that much about it. I probably shouldn't say it's one of my least favorites until I give it another shot. But as of right now, it's not my favorite.
Ivalice has an insane amount of lore, but it points out a weakness of Yasumi Matsuno, the creator of Ivalice. He is he is a tell don't show. Is the biggest problem with his general writing style. So
which can be fine as long as it's meshed in with other things well. But if it feels like a big block of, it's really tough.
Yeah, he is a tell don't show kind of person. Even without the history of 12 or tactics, you can usually Ivalice is very contained to 14. Our Ivalice, while it references 12 and tactics, very, very contained to 14's lore, thankfully, dealing with the history of the Garleans and the Evolutions. Unfortunately, it has a thread that got deliberately left out for the future, which Matsuno himself touched upon in that of Tartarus. So, Tartarus in that, Matsuno said he had a purpose for Tartarus. And it was supposed to be we were actually going to use it to time travel back to what point was that? I think it was the start of the Garlean War. He points it out, but then he said because of Shadowbringers, he's like, oh, I don't want to do time travel. It's too close to Shadowbringers.
Probably good not to have some back-to-back time travel.
Yeah. So that got dropped for the time being. Maybe sometime in the future, but that was supposed to be a big thing that they came out of the Gaugan civilization with that got kind of messed around with. But that's okay. That's fine. It was before Dalamud fell. That's right. It was supposed to be before Dalamud fell that we were supposed to go. Not Dalamud. The Meteor Project. Before the Meteor Project destroyed Bozja. That's what it was. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. For
Big
the Bozja
time.
incident.
Yeah. So we still
sorry to get you off your tangent of Aglaya.
No.
Go right ahead.
That's okay.
Yeah. Aglaya. It's dope.
Well, yeah, it is fucking dope. I mean, I run around dressed as a perfect copy rendition of Derek. I don't know if you know that. My character is Derek. Like,
I've seen.
To a fucking T. And it's so fun. Like, it's super fun. I really, really love what they're doing here because as we all kind of, are suspecting, either Derek is the god Ashan or that Oppo following him around is Ashan.
Oppo.
Yeah.
So just like the whole situation of Derek just stumbling upon this gateway and how he's just happened to have explored all the heavens already, but he never ran into the gods while he was in there. No, like it's just there's a lot of real sus things going on. And I'm super, super excited. I don't think I'm excited about anything more than Aglaya right now. It's absolutely my bread and butter at the moment.
Any of the 12 you looking forward to meeting?
Yeah, definitely interested in seeing the Thaliak and Althik fights, considering their nature. One being time, that's kind of huge. I think that they could do some really fun things with that. I think time mechanics in fights are clever. I don't like it as much in stories, but in fights they're fun. I really want to see Halone, and the descriptions out of Encyclopedia Eorzea describe that there is a gigantic citadel carved out of pure ice. Ice made from frozen moonbeams from the sky that are carved by Halone's spear herself. I also want to remind you that in Encyclopedia Eorzea, it describes to a T the floating citadel in the Heaven of Lightning, Heaven of Levin, where Rhalgr is. So I have a feeling that we are going to get this giant citadel of ice carved out of fucking frozen moonbeams. So I'm extremely excited to see hers. I'm excited to see Nafika. I think will be really cool. Not just because of Nafika's seeds it was, but I think it'll be a cool theme. I think if we get like some world tree type stuff, that'll be cool. And then I think the last one I think really probably would be like maybe like Lim Lane or even Ashan. Like I'm just excited to see that reveal as far as like what does this mean for us? I definitely see the 12 as being inspired by the members of the Convocation. I definitely personally see the 12 as being the 12 followers of Hydaelyn. I see a lot in the not only just in the architecture found in Amphalos, but also in Elpis. I find that there's some pretty big inspiration hints that are happening in Elpis. I don't know if you guys have done all the side quests at the 12 Wonders yet, but you find out that in Elpis at the 12 Wonders Gardens, it's literally a construct that they've built to reflect the balance of dynamic and stagnant ether in Elpis. And they use this giant clock, essentially, that when viewed from above looks exactly like the layout for the 12, by the way. It's even segmented in the same order. They use it to determine how the ether is, and then they can fix that as easily as breathing, they tell you. So it just goes to show how deep of an understanding and how easily it was for the ancients to manipulate not only the 6 elements, but both polarities of each of them, which is really important when you start to realize that the 12 are each embodiments of the 6 elements on both polarities. You start to realize, like, wait a second, they had a big appreciation for this. What the fuck is going on here? So at this stage, I'm very, very much along the path of like the 12 are, I think, the 12 followers of Hydaelyn that she left behind when she became Hydaelyn. Some people would say, oh, well, wasn't their ether used? Weren't they dissolved or whatever? I don't believe so. First off, the way that Yoshi P talks about it in the interview, he really is hinting at like, he literally says like, if you're curious about like how many people were used and what the power that was used to summon Hydaelyn, like now might be a good time to go back and look at that. Why the fuck would he be saying that? You know what I mean? Like you go back and you look at the cutscenes and you notice, wait a second, there's 12 of them. Wait a second. And one of them is pleading with Hydaelyn or pleading with Vana, who's going to lead us when you leave? Who's going to lead us? Like, what are we going to do? I don't see any reason why, if, as we've learned in Asphodelos, if ancients can merge with concepts and become demigods, then why can't really powerful and knowledgeable ancients merge with concepts and elements to become these gods that we know now? I just think, and I'm ranting now, as I'll try to wrap it up, but I think that given the fact that we learn that these 12 gods are shown to mortals when there are etheric disturbances, most primarily when we're having calamities, which are caused by Ascians, which, as a byproduct, make Zodiark stronger and make Hydaelyn weaker. I just think it's weird that the 12, their influence spread and they became more prevalent as more of these calamities happen. That seems rather convenient for Hydaelyn's sake. And the fact that as soon as Hydaelyn's gone, the 12 come out and they're like, when Hydaelyn's gone, we are the will of the star. We rule the star, right? Why would they be saying things like that? And then the last thing really is that Emmett Selk says to you, just the very same way that he says that we should go explore the wonders beneath the bounty and find the fucking rift that leads us to the 13th, that I'm sure he fucking knew was there. He tells us we don't even know the true identities of our 12, which implies that Emmett Selk does know who they are. It's like, how does he know that? How would he put... I think... For me, there's so many different things that tie into it being her 12 followers. That's where my head is at currently. And it makes me so excited because I did feel like during the story, I was like, so what happened to those people? Like, what was the deal with that? Like, what did they go and do? Like, what, and I don't know. I think you see how non-interventional the gods can be. Even when we were in our most dire need of their help, in the 7th Umbral Calamity and we were facing Bahamut at the Battle of Cardano, the power that we summoned down from the heavens was not even actually them. Like that was primal power. That just goes to show you, like, even when we're begging them to help us, like they didn't. And I think that just speaks volumes about what their purpose is. So what I'm hoping is that as we progress into Aglia, we learn the true identities of the 12, which are I would hope that because, and since they're themed on Greek gods anyway, names like Gaia and Hades and things like that are fitting anyway. They also already said that they've already decided on all the names of all the convocation members, the actual names. So it wouldn't blow my mind if these other people had names decided already too. So I'm hoping that's what happens. I think that'd be a cool way to wrap up that Vana saga, that Hydaelyn saga, is like, these are the people who sacrificed everything to become entities that they didn't exert their will on us and force us to do anything. Rather, the opposite. They look to us for inspiration. They look to us to find virtue, and they believe that we make them better, not the opposite. And I just think that is so in line with what Vana would want and what they embodied. That's just where my mind is. Last part, I think. I'm sorry. I think, in a sense, Aglia and the 12 are representations of virtue, right? They're representations of benevolence and things that we ought to strive to be as people. And I think that that's reflected when you read in Encyclopedia Eorzea. You read about the saints of the 12, and you read about these people are being recognized for their saintly traits with things like concord and justice, which both apply to Ashan, just as a side note, or valor as another option, right? You're finding that these gods, they might be a little bit more plainly conceptual than we realize. Like, it might be a little more cut and dry. So I think that Pandemonium could end up being the vice side of things, the side of the ancients that we didn't want to see, the side of them where they started to do weird experiments on things that they didn't let see the light of day. Deep, deep, dark in the abyss. Your cat is so cute. I would love to see Pandemonium be kind of that mirror image to Aglia, virtue and vice. So that's where I'm hoping that goes, personally.
I was about to get to the exact same conclusion, so glad to know we're on the same page there.
There you go.
Yeah, especially because of the other thing for me for Pandemonium is actually we have pretty compelling stories for 2 of our 3 Unsundered, and the last one is kind of a Saturday morning cartoon character in A Realm Reborn.
Right.
So
Yeah, La Brea got fucked.
I'm of the opinion that our La Brea is not the La Brea in charge of Asphodelos. It is, of course, our good old boy Eric Tony, as I like to call him. And it makes sense because he's with Elidibus, and we know him and Elidibus end up with Emmett, and that's how they get protected from the.
And that's clearly the same Elidibus. The voice is, it's the same guy.
Yeah. So on top of the vices of his ancestry, because his father being the previous La Brea. And we all know we see Hermes gets ascended super quick, so it wouldn't surprise me to see Eric Tony get ascended to the convocation super quick before the end of days. So
yeah, that'll be interesting if we get to see that, because it'll give you just another perspective on, like, what does it take to get to that stature, essentially. Like, what do you have to do to get there? Maybe it's not quite what we thought it was.
Yeah, and if you've done, so you said, have you done the end of the new A Realm Reborn, the La Brea solo instance?
Yeah, I think one time.
Because you would have had to have New Game Plused it in order to do it.
Perhaps not then.
Okay, yeah, because there's a few more parallels drawn between La Brea. They do a good job of fleshing out La Brea's, not his character so much, but that the fight's far more insightful to him and what he's capable of doing. And I think given Eric Tony, that's a little deliberate. So definitely give New Game Plus a try at some point.
Is La Brea the fight where you go into like the realm of stasis, so to speak, and like everything turns white, and you're like, or is that
Nabrialis
you're
is
thinking,
that's Nabrialis.
Are you thinking of the
That's not
What was
Borealis.
it called?
The
The Chrysalis. Yeah, that is in the
Chrysalis,
Chrysalis.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think I need to go back and probably do La Habrea then.
Yeah, this was like just
Yeah.
after 6.1 where they changed, Ultima's now his own instance, Porta Decumana. It's like La Habrea is a solo instance now that follows up after Porta Decumana.
Right. Instead of stringing it all together, that was so long before.
And not only stringing it together, but also killing him before he does anything.
yeah.
So they do, yeah. I feel like they've certainly given looking back now, seeing how they've changed it, it's clear they want you to make certain connections about La Habrea later. So
and that's part of what makes me excited about like the Heart of Sabik thing, because La Habrea is so tied to that. So I'm hoping we'll see that towards the end.
yeah, I'd be hard pressed to believe that doesn't happen. it's a way too obvious. But while they're focusing on, we have Pandemonium and dealing with the sort of underworld, almost quite literally the underworld of the Asians to some capacity. Not literally. Emmett would have something to say about that, but they're more their underbelly, I suppose, the dark side.
Yeah.
We have Aglaia, the heaven, essentially. Now, then there's everything else in between, because the rest of 6.1 story is pushing us in a direction that has also long been hinted at. There's been seeds of it constantly throughout, whether it be Encyclopedia Eorzea or the actual story regarding the Void. It is the one missing piece of even the Asian story. It's their singular failure in their attempt to rejoin, and quite frankly, something that doomed them to fail even if they rejoined the other 12. They would have needed a solution for that, implying there is a solution to the Void. Do you see us going as far as restoring the Void, or do you just see it as the next sort of cosmic force that we need to contend with to protect the source?
That's that's tough to say. I think that one of my favorite raids dives pretty deep into restoration. That, of course, being Eden. So restoring and etheric balance and how that would be accomplished. From the way that I understand it, that world underwent such cataclysmic devastation that I don't think that it can probably be repaired, even if we were to harness the powers of something like Eden, because like we have to come up with matter somehow. We like this shit. Like it seems like just completely destroyed. So it's not like we can take the rubble and build new. Like we don't have any rubble in some aspects. Like it's that destroyed and that fragmented. At least that's how I understand it. It would be interesting to maybe see part of it restored. Maybe part of it could be like a holdout, or maybe an inhabitable for those that really want to live on the far edge and seek like the baddest of the bad, people that want to hunt void shit, like people who are crazy maybe, but I like bounty hunters and stuff like that. But I don't foresee necessarily that being repaired in that kind of way. But I don't know.
Don't we already have Kalhai as our Void Sent bounty hunter, so to speak, Void Sent elimination squad?
He seems like he wants to become that, but he's because that's the big thing, is the story of restoring the Void is kind of trapped behind a lot of side quests. Like you have to go through the Warring Triad and then the role quests of Shadowbringers to get to
so good.
Yeah, very, very good. I'm a big sucker for the healer and for the caster. Caster being one of the more important ones, given it deals
the first
with
one I did.
Yeah, it deals with the void more directly. And I don't think they'll ever make us do that. I think if they ever do dive deep into the void and they want to involve those characters again, it'd be more referential than forcing you to do all this leveling and all these side quests and everything.
Instead, they'll just make the Void Arc stuff required. Isn't that what they're doing?
So the Void Arc stuff's being required for Tataru, but that, of course, could be a preface for that, because the main characters from that, the Sky Pirates, we're going to be dealing with them. Probably distribution for Tataru's empire of mercantiles.
High fashion.
Yes.
Right.
But the big thing with the 13th is that its biggest problem is that the dark is all consuming. It's constantly looking to consume everything around it, and that's 6.1 touches upon how dangerous it is even being near there. You basically become corrupted, even if not immediately, then shortly after. And we're trying to come up with a means with which to harness what we used in Endwalker, the charms, but specifically targeted at void energy, so we can actually step foot inside that location.
We saw what it did to Nero. Remember that?
Yes, that is the prime example of it. Now, given that we have a dungeon, Troya, and that is most assuredly in the 13th, and we've been to the 13th.
Wait, the dungeon's called Troya?
Yeah. You understand that?
Port of Troya.
I didn't know. Oh shit. Okay.
Next, yeah. So suddenly, again, that Final Fantasy IV playthrough's paying off, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
They have the Felcourt of Troya. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's most assuredly in the 13th. I guess we're putting these things to a much more strict test because we are diving in what we would assume would be diving into the portal that's in the Alzadal ruins.
Do you think they're gonna pull some shit like the 13th is the world that 4 happened in, like type shit?
Well, no, they don't. They never do it so directly as that.
It's usually a little bit that's too aggressive.
Yeah, it's too aggressive.
That's what I thought.
Even with Gilgamesh, who is an interdimensional being, they say that 14's Gilgamesh is separate from that interdimensional one that travels between all the different. Obviously, he's going to reference it. We see that enough, but
it won't be that direct. Okay.
Yeah, not that direct. And also, all the collaborations are considered non-canon. So we never have
Sometimes
to worry
WoW
about
just
that,
straight rips other shit off, so I don't know anymore.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But what's interesting is we do have a semi-solution to this. So in Eden, the idea that they first introduced, what they want to try to do is to introduce the elements back. But they realize the key thing that's missing is the catalyst of dark ether. Now, of course, that's, it's a bit manufactured to release, what's his face? Artemis. But all the same, it ends up also being the actual solution. The solution to the void is the opposite. It's stasis. The ether needs to actually be stopped and slowed down. And so I can't help but feel like Eden has to be the solution to that. All the same, being just a massive light of just this manipulative ether.
It's like a giant sin eater ship. Like, I felt like, I don't know. I feel like out of the Mega's really impactful as well, of course, with how that ends up helping the Ironworks and stuff. But like, I feel like out of the side raids, I feel like Eden is one of those ones that like is the most powerful, makes the most sense to try to utilize later. And it was one of those moments of like, holy shit! Like I didn't know we could do this kind of thing. Obviously, through that process of restoration. So I hope that we use it more because it seems like that. I agree with you. That is our answer. Like that is our remedy for how we fixed it. We had to have Eden. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Chad, of course, bringing up that Eden is a tree now, but I've never let anything stop me before from assuming they could do it because they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, I need to do Eden again. I don't know what they mean by the Eden's a tree.
It's the final scene. It's the final. If you even just go visit the first again,
is
and
it
you just
there?
You can just see it.
Okay, I just couldn't.
Yeah, you could just go listen to the Final Fantasy VIII music that plays there. Oh. You'll be fine. That's true.
Oh yeah, because Eden comes from FF8, right?
There you go. I was gonna say, well, yeah, comes from
sort of. Doesn't Eden blow up a fucking planet or something? Doesn't Eden do like the same mega beam shit that we saw?
Eden is just a summon in 8. Literally has no bearing on anything at all. Gotcha. It's just it's just 7. You know 7. It's just okay. Knights of the Round.
Nope.
Okay, there you go.
I don't know 7 then.
Okay.
I watched Advent Children once.
Twice, okay, yeah, that won't do it. Okay.
No.
There's even more references than that you've missed. Let me tell you.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, you're gonna have a journey when you play
Speaking out about the Knights of the Round.
Yeah, I remember seeing you do Thornton for the first time. I'm like,
I didn't get it. I was just no.
Yeah, you must not have seen Knights of the Round then. Yeah.
I was just freaking out because it was fucking awesome.
True.
I was like, I don't know what's going on, but this is fucking awesome. But no, I didn't understand it. That was like one of the first references.
Chat, stop. Don't say Sephiroth is from 7. Stop it. Stop.
Oh my good.
Stop. I will stop you right there. You'll not insult my favorite Final Fantasy of 6 by calling him from 7. Stop it.
Get some help, please.
Get some. Stop it. Get some help.
Get some help.
Get
There
some
you go.
One of my favorite. That's one of my favorites.
And that's what's in. So that's, man, the void has been something that's just been, it's been teased for so long. And there's one theory I have about this that I cannot tell you. Actually, I'm not going to tell you because of 4, but I almost feel like you already know because I think you've experienced the thing that drives my theory in 4 already, but I'll leave it till you're done.
All right.
It is in regards to the reason that we're going to the 13th in the first place, which you know is
Azhdaya?
Azhdaya. Mm-hmm.
Is that from? Oh.
I want you to draw. I think you've already experienced some things that would lead you to where my theory is going.
They talked about some dragon stuff and how there's something real powerful on the moon, and they talked about how I was like born a dragon or something like that, or someone was born of a dragon.
Yeah, well, I mean, just play Final Fantasy 4 after stream today, okay?
Yeah, just
I will.
Just play Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I think I just want you to think about what I just said, and then don't think about it. But then when it comes to you'll. Because it's not even there's nothing like about 4 that I'm even spoiling right now. It's just something that shows up briefly that I think in 4 is a reference. I'm not like there's not like major story beat I'm setting expectation for.
No.
I just want you to know that. I'm not telling you to like look for a thing.
Do you think I've seen it with where I'm at in the game?
I think you have.
Okay, because I'm in the underworld now.
Yeah, I think you have, but all the same, it's something that just appears briefly. It's like I said, it's not a story beat of any kind.
Okay. All right, I'll think about that.
But keep an eye out.
Think about it, but then don't.
Yeah. Because you've fought Golbez once already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was he alone?
I might have looked away from the screen. Oh, I saw Golbesh summon a dragon, a shadow dragon. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't be good.
that wouldn't be good.
You're sure might not be very happy about that. Yeah, if that has anything to do with what's happened to Azhdaya, that would be bad.
But also, good Final Fantasy IV reference.
Yeah, fuck. I didn't even think about that.
That was the first thing.
Dragons stuck in the void. That's probably not a very good thing.
No, yeah. Given their eyes are limitless pools of ether, and the shadows, really, we're looking at that ether. It could really do something to a dragon to have the void just eat at their eyes for all eternity.
This is gonna be really fucking bad.
Yeah, it's gonna be really.
You got me I'm like paranoid now. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, Vritra's not gonna probably have the best of experiences, I feel like. I actually so now that we've gotten to that point, I think the reason they're not telling us the trial name is because it is not one of the 4 fiends.
Oh, you think you think it'll be Azhdaya?
Azhdaya or even Golbez is to start. I think they could throw us a loop and just start with him.
I mean, we started with fucking Zodiark and Endwalker. Like, I don't think any of us expected that.
Yeah, I feel like the fiends are so obvious, it would be stupid to not mention them in a live letter.
That's what most people think that the trial series will be.
Yeah.
Are trial series normally 3 fights or 4?
3, but that's because
3.
the 0.3 patch normally has like a main story boss.
Oh, so sometimes that's worked into the same kind of vein, or no?
No, so they completely skip the trial series for a patch.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I see what you're saying.
So like for Whirlit, it was 0.2 is a trial, 0.3 is a solo instance because they were doing Warrior of Light. They were we were dealing with
Story related stuff.
Yeah, and then they brought back the trial series in 0.4 and 0.5. Yeah, so,
gotcha. Okay, they tend to one at a time.
But that's not because the story doesn't work the same now because we're on a new arc. So 0.3 isn't the last boss of Endwalker, like
right. 6-0 was.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't really know how they're gonna do it this time around. So I'm just curious because the fact they're keeping it a secret has me all like, I gotta make crackpot theories for that.
I gotta play some 4.
You really do. Yeah.
Yeah. You do.
I would highly advise. You're gonna have some crackpot theories by the time you're done.
Yeah, they said it's about to get exciting.
Anytime if you have played all the final, because I played all of them, so I always have crackpot theories every single time that they get a character involved. It's unavoidable.
All these different possibilities just based on what happened to them in the other game.
Yeah, but it's like that they probably won't do it verbatim because they tend to take an original take on it. Yeah, so there's some things. They're really good with it though. You know the math boss in Ivalice?
Don't recall it at all. Nope. Not even a little bit.
Do you know that if you cycle back through the instance, you return to the start and you walk back to the boss room, it's there dancing?
No, I didn't know that. I would never intentionally go back to that boss for any reason.
That's also a reference to what it does in Tactics because it dances.
It dances after you defeat it or something.
Well, I forget exactly how it works, but it does dance in Tactics. Yeah, so
all the references and they just go.
Yep,
right over my head.
Yeah, but you get to have the reverse, like you said. You have the reverse nostalgia.
Now I go back and I'm like, wait a second. Why are they copying Final Fantasy 14? What the heck?
It's like, wow, it's really crazy how this game copies 14, right? This game is 25 years old. It's unoriginal. How unoriginal.
Stuck in a time loop.
Yeah, it's got so many directions. But I guess the real question is, do you think the main scenario is going towards this whole Ejdaya, Vricha, Golbez thing? Or do you think it is going more in the direction of the Avatar, Zenos' Avatar, which we were told would be very important in Endwalker and had no fucking bearing on anything as far as we could see. We were told to pay very careful attention to it, though.
I would like to see some more stuff come out of that, but I guess the impression that I've got initially is that it will be like, it'll be important, but it'll be like a side thing, but maybe that's not true. I mean, Zenos was pretty front and center for a while. So I guess it depends on the identity of whatever that thing is. Like if it's him or if that's like a shard of us, if Golbez is our shard, or if that's still a thing around, that's a theory that gets thrown around. And so I guess a lot of it depends on what it is. If it really is just just
a void scent.
A void scent, thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Then I guess I don't know. It depends. We could just learn like some fundamental void scent things from it, and that could be the end of it, or it could really lead into something else. I'd be okay with it not being continued like forever because it's kind of like the legacy of Zenos to an extent. Like it's still kind of a part of him that's going on. So yeah, I'd be okay with it being like side content, something that's a side quest. But I also, given the fact that they made cutscenes of it, I'm sure it's going to be really important.
Jesse wants to say, Zenos' avatar is going to be the Minfilia of the 13th. She still calls Thancred daddy.
Why Thancred? Just if it's Zenos, they can just call me daddy.
I can't argue that
Zenos.
point.
Fucking Zenos.
Not that I would want to try.
Well, it's still too early to kind of make these predictions. Where do you think where's at least one place you think we're going in 7.0?
It depends on. So I know where I'd really like to go, but it depends on if they try to mix it into Endwalker, because you could, but I'd really like to see Marasidia in 7.0. That's where I want to go. Yeah. I mean, as soon as when they started talking about the dragons, and that's where they all come from, and you don't really get to learn much about it, but it's always in the background. You're like, dude, even as early as Heaven's Ward and late A Realm Reborn, you're like, I want to go there. I want to go see what that's about. So I would definitely say Marasidia personally.
Yeah, and Midgardsormr's just having a nap. I need that motherfucker to wake up.
Yeah, he kind of had an important pact with Hydaelyn, and that was kind of a big part of his character. And we are going to the 13th to try to save another one of his broods. So there could be a return.
We still don't know, still haven't answered the real kind of quote unquote mystery of a Silver Tear Lake. as well. So
Yes,
I
although
got some ideas about that if you want to hear them.
yeah, because Aglaya being there, I think us opening that. I mean, we know that that's not the only location that people have
Right.
seen, but the fact that it's the centerpiece of where we actually enter Aglaya is is
Hold on, what?
Yeah.
One second.
Okay.
My Roomba's like having a problem.
You have to go tame the Roomba. That Phantom Realm. The fact that that's where our Phantom Realm kicks up is pretty important.
Yeah.
There are other locations that I mean, I know you really want to go to the New World. You want your barbecue. I know.
Sorry about that.
No, it's I'll wait till you say it's on. No, it's fine.
it's fine.
Yeah, the Phantom.
It had a fucking dog toy stuck in it.
Sounds like an actual dog just trying to bite the toy.
Right.
So I think Marasidia is a super logical place to want to go. I think the New World maybe too much of an undertaking at this time. I guess it really depends. I just feel like Tiamat we know is free. They flew off probably to Marasidia. We don't know much.
Yeah.
And the big thing is the only place that has a trade route with it is Thavnar.
True. Yeah, I don't think there's any other established trade routes anywhere. Because the East doesn't have any, as far as I'm aware. That's the only other place that would have any. And there's no like pirates from like Limsa that do any trading down there, is there?
No, and the pirates aren't even pirates anymore, really.
Yeah, they're hard. Yeah.
Yeah. So
They're on the up and up. So yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd like to go down there and see more of the dragon stuff, and I don't know, maybe get some more like Amharic, Estinian stuff, maybe, or you don't have to do that, but
I think Estinian's stuck in. I don't think he's going anywhere for a long time with Thavnar. I think he's. Yeah, I think the Nidhogg inside of him is pretty beholden to protecting Vritra, because it's a big thing with Estinian. He does really feel a lot of what Nidhogg feels, and Vritra would essentially be the younger brother. So he's got like older sibling syndrome when it comes to how he handles Varshan and Vritra.
It's still one of your own, regardless. Like, and given what has happened to your race throughout its existence, whether it's being persecuted by the Alligans or whether it was fighting against the Omicron, like, you kind of have to look out for one another. You lose any of the major brood, and that's a big deal. I feel like that's like dragon royalty dying, basically. That's a big fucking deal. So I'd really love to see more of that explored. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we get some kind of new class or something that relates to it or something. Who knows? I mean, Dragoon's a thing, so I can't imagine you could get much more dragon than that. But
it's going to be a new thing. Maybe there will be more dragon.
You never know. I mean, next expansion, you'll be able to fucking turn into a dragon and do dragon flying. You never know.
They'll call it Evoker. Completely original.
Yeah, super original.
Sly, that's a World of Warcraft reference, in case you don't. That's what they're doing in Dragonflight. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
about if I could say about Silver Tier Lake, or Silver Tier Falls and all that. So,
yeah.
I was just thinking about how that thing is like a gigantic well of ether, basically, is what it is. Like it's a big lake of goodness. And it talks in Encyclopedia Eorzea how the 12 are born out of something called the Whirl, WHORL, which is like a great expanse, like an I don't want to like misdescribe it, but it's like a big, almost like a vortex of like we were born out of this thing, so to speak. I kind of have this feeling that given how much ether it has stored there, and that Omphalos has normal etheric levels and stuff, like regulated like it's typical. When we went there, I think Snowgem mentioned that to us, that it's like seems legit here, or maybe that I can't remember who that was, Grahatia maybe. But
someone.
I almost wonder if like Omphalos literally as a floating island, given its positioning, I almost kind of wonder if it was like sundered from the earth at one point and like risen, like Omphalos literally used to be potentially where Silver Tier is. That's just one idea. Also, there is the fact that like they talk about, I think it's Nemea who cries a river, some shit like that. She cries like a lake of tears or something, and then I think it's Althik or Thaliak. I can't remember which one. I think it's Thaliak makes a river that runs out of it. which the Thaliak River runs out of the source. I'm pretty sure runs out of the Silver Tear Falls, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm thinking basically like the connection there, and also why the gateway is at Silver Tear Falls to get into the Omphalos is because that's the origin point. I think like Silver Tear Lake might be the origin point of the gods, basically. Is an idea. Is just an idea that I have at the moment. That's part of why I think the Omphalos is there. It's why it's severed from reality partially, and etc. So.
Yeah, as Chaz pointed out, the Thaliak is actually where Alexander is over
in Dravanian hinterlands.
Yeah, over in the hinterlands. But all the same,
regardless, I'd have to read. I'm
there's
probably
so many
misquoting it
details.
anyway.
There's so many details. Can't keep track of them all.
I'm paraphrasing it.
Yeah. A big thing is what we've seen with Silver Tear historically is actually 1.0. The trailer for 1.0 showcases what happened when the Agrius crashed into Silver Tear, and it essentially released a giant wellspring of ether that allowed a lot of summons to be born into the world. You see Ifrit and Titan and Leviathan, all of them kind of crashing out of that impact point. And so clearly it is a centerpiece of ether. It even makes sense why Emmett would have had the Crystal Tower, or Zonde. I guess Emmett would have kind of directed them towards it, but
think about this too. Didn't they say in the quest that they posit that Rhalgr could be like, or that striking tree, what the fuck is his name? Lord
Ramuh.
11.
Yeah.
Ramuh is like the primal version of Rhalgr, potentially.
Yeah.
So it's funny that potentially that maybe one of those primal entities could have been a god born out of the same place, so to speak, if that were to be where the 12 came from.
Yeah. I think it's believed that in a time where the Phantom Realm was visible, the Sylvans gazed upon Rhalgr and thus created their own concept of their god, which ended up becoming Ramuh.
Right, that's their right. I guess I'm speaking like more figuratively when you're talking about like the cutscene, so to say, like if it's the birthplace of gods, is kind of more of what I'm getting at.
Right.
But yes, that is correct. Like they apparently did witness Rhalgr and then kind of develop their own thing from there.
I guess that's actually a big question. There was a big debate about one of the 12 in particular, Azima, and the thought that in some capacity, if she was related to or inspired by Azim.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any parallels to draw on that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's in her name, Azema. It's similar to like the Azem step, right? And we know Azem was present there. Azema also is fire and kind of represents the sun, which is another thing that Azem represented, right? Like with his astro symbol, essentially. With the solar system, with the sun central and everything, and the fact that it's orange. I do think that Azema is definitely, to an extent, probably inspired by Azem, but I think that more so, I think Ashan is going to be. I think when you think about the title of Ashan, the Wanderer, and you think about the fact that he is kind of the god who goes out among the world and is among the people and witnesses the strife, and he's the explorer, he's the traveler, and I think that that's very much what Azem represents, the man amongst the people, to go and learn the plights and the great things that happen, and and I think that would be extremely fitting as far as if Derek relates to Ashan, or the Apo relates to Ashan or anything, how he, being a traveler, draws us into this place. He's the one kind of guiding us here to learn the truth of the gods, learning their true identity or whatever that may be. I see a lot more. The name is one thing, and then the crystal is another thing. But I think as far as behavior, actions, what they're known for doing, Ashan really speaks more, in their title especially, speaks more to me, Azem, than Azema does. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, okay. Pretty much on the same page as that.
That's why I dress up as Derek, honestly. That's part of why I cosplay him in the game, because I feel like that's the god that I can relate most to, because I think that they're literally related to or inspired by Azem the most. And I think when you look at like Nald Thal, I mean, think about who they're voiced by. Like, come on, man. Like, it's Emmett Selk in the God of the Underworld, right? Like taking care of those souls that go there and doing that stuff. So, I hope that we see more of that VA action going on, and I'm super excited to see why they've gotten our attention. Why now? You know, is it just to reveal the truth to us of we don't want to deceive you anymore? We want you to know the truth of who we are and what we're doing. Is it one of us has been turned? Has something gone wrong? Like, what's going on? And I think that Ashan or Derek, whoever is at the center of that, I think it's really cool.
You know, it would have been funny if one of Nalthal's voices was a Hythlodaeus. that would have been something.
One of Nalthal's voices, isn't it? Isn't it Hythlodaeus and Emmett?
Is it? I don't know. I think
it is.
Oh, it is. Okay, yeah,
it
is.
Okay, it is. Okay, I wasn't sure.
Rhalgr's is a Stinian.
Yeah, I know that. That's super obvious. Like as soon as he opens his mouth, you're like, "What the?"
I'm pretty sure it's Hythlodaeus.
Graha. Okay.
I thought it was Graha.
Oh, is it Grahatia?
Okay.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I thought it was Graha. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That would have been something if it was both Emmett and Hythlodaeus.
I thought it was. My bad. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, Bayergot was Susano. Yeah. Some of them are, the Estinian one's super obvious. You're like, what the how are you here?
Yeah. Honestly, I was so enthralled by like what I was looking at that I'm going to be totally honest, I didn't even realize the voices the first time through. I didn't even, like, chat's pointing them out to me. I'm like, guys, I'm just fighting this god. Can we just not right now? Like, this is just so cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good. There's so many. I hope that's not just coincidental. I really want it to have some sort of like extra reasoning.
I think it would make sense. Like, if you think about these 12 Convocation members, these are not the Convocation. These 12 followers of Hydaelyn, and you think they kind of lose their leader, so to speak, as she becomes Hydaelyn. Like, I think becoming amalgamations of virtue and then kind of still following along with her plan would make sense. I hope it has more meaning like that. And I thought that they said that like the Aglia thing was like a prologue. Prologue is at the an epilogue is an epilogue at the end.
Epilogue's at the end.
Yeah, epilogue.
Thank you. Sorry. An epilogue for like the ancient story. Maybe I'm misremembering that, but I thought that was mentioned at one point. That could be misquoting though if that does not ring a bell to either of you guys.
It kind of does. It kind of rings a bell. I mean, I think especially because Emmett brings it up, so it's like it's even more so an epilogue. Yeah.
And that you walk in, bro, and like you look at their little huts, and on the top of it is that swirly thing from Amarod. It's like come on, like
yeah. A lot of people. Are you
serious?
That,
like
yeah.
How? Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I could literally just.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of expectation. It was a very, very good start. There's a reason. I think even though 6.1 turns in motion all of the Final Fantasy IV references, the Zenos avatar, I think Aglaia was a lot more immediately captivating in terms of that. Because again, it borrows from so many years of information or maybe even misinformation if you believe them at face value for what they're saying and
Pandemonium, I think, is this in a similar way, like kind of unpacking some of those things we didn't know about. And even though we dealt with La Habrea early, and we had Elidibus pretty present throughout most of it. I mean, we learned later that the Elidibus that we're interacting with is in fact a primal. It's a different entity. But to go back and get to see Themis and get to see, like, I don't know, it's both of them really, really feel like linking back to really old things that have a lot of bearing and a lot of importance. And I've heard an idea, this is a little bit off the wall, but I think it would be super cool if it could be done.
Get your hats. I don't have tin foil, so I'll just use this chicken wrap.
If they were to take like the last two segments of the raids and almost like cross them and switch them so that like the final wing of Pandemonium was actually had something to do, like a tie-in with Aglia, something that maybe they took from Aglia, or something that was a presage to Aglia, or something, something like that. And then like the end of Aglia was, this is this incredible detriment that was born of Pandemonium. We are calling upon you because we need your help to get rid of it, or something like that.
And that is mildly teased. There is a structure in Aglaya that is uncertain of its function, whereas we know the other 4 portals lead to the realms of the various 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And which is interesting because we're in the 7th heaven, which by the way, you guys surely, I mean, they mentioned it in the quest, like the fucking inn that's in Mordona is called the 7th heaven. Like, come on, dude. That was when they did that. I was like, okay, this is fucking awesome. Like, this is when you have Snow Gem sitting across the table from you, and she's like, this isn't just a coincidence. This is destiny. I'm like, yes, girl. Yes. This is fucking destiny. This is not a coincidence. It's great, dude. It's really cool to be excited about just the first set. You know, we're not even on the second part yet. So,
man, you know what really fucking pisses me off? Not to change the mood. That Nier got all these fucking quests in between the raids, and that I don't get that with my goddamn. They better fucking do it with this. I was like, you fucking wasted 30 minutes of my life in these goddamn dwarves in between every raid, and now you can't fucking do that for my real 24 mans.
Yeah, I can't actually get some. Yeah, I know. I just take solace in the fact that the raid is fucking sick, and I just try to be like thankful for that. But inside, I'm like, also though, can I have a little more, please? So yeah,
I want that with the 8-mans too. I've wanted that with the 8-mans as well, because it always feels like trying to cram it into just the 3 raid patches. They do it successfully. But the pacing, I think, and just reminding people that it's there, being able to kind of filter in those things. I guess you don't have to force it, but I think what if 6.1 had something else with Pandemonium, with Elidibus, with you know,
a little something on the side, a little flavor or something. That would have been kind of cool.
We had a lot of little flavor on the side in 6.1 though, between Emelions.
True.
Between Omega and everything.
It was spread out, but it was still nonetheless pretty good.
Yeah. The Omega stuff was great.
See, we got to tell Midgard somewhere about Ultima Thule too. It's not just Omega.
Mm-hmm.
We got to let them know. They found solace. They did it. We helped. We're building a restaurant for them at the end of the universe.
Which is fucking stupid. I fucking hate that idea. Like, everybody's loving that idea, but I think it's fucking stupid.
Sly, if you were at the end of the universe, would you not want to drink?
I mean, yeah, but who the fuck are you going to serve it to? The Omicrons? The dying fucking dragons? The Ia? Who the fuck are you serving it to? Like, what? Like,
them.
Who the fuck else is going there?
The screenshot. The screenshot has the races from the dungeon too.
Oh yeah, we got some shades of dead folk to come and eat our fucking food.
I understand it's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy kind of reference. I get it, but still, it's fucking stupid. I hate it.
We're going. Isn't that all that matters?
As long as I can get a stiff drink when I fucking make landfall there, I don't give a damn.
There you go. Yeah, it's like every time we go to do a hunt train, just stop in for a bev.
Is that going to be our pit stop? The fucking
this fucking desolate bar that is like the remnant of an extinguished society. Yeah, we're just fucking stopping there for casual coffee. Like, yeah, guys, remember when we came here and cried our fucking eyes out about all the dead people? Yeah, that was great. Yeah. Don't you love it? Haha, sips tea. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, I'm having something stronger than tea.
Yeah, I'm having, dude, Long Island tea, if any kind of tea. What the fuck?
Yeah. It's like you look around, you're like...
Grey.
Forge ahead.
Yeah, dude. into depression and darkness.
Is it all the drinks are just like lyrics from the song? It's got the forge ahead. And
you know what they do though? They build you up and they fucking crush you so well in this game, dude. They do it so well. Yeah. They have a really good emotional roller coaster where like sometimes you're really on the fucking rise and then you get a little bit to come down from it. And I think that's probably one of the coolest things about the game is that like how they don't always slam you too hard with it, but even at the very end they get you with like here's all the despair you could possibly handle, but remember hope is still there at the end.
Yeah, that roller coaster that
little nugget of hope.
Yeah, speaking of roller, man, the big roller coaster for me, just going back to Endwalker, was definitely Moonbreeda's parents. They're like, here are all these shitty fetch quests.
Man, I lost it. I fucking lost it.
Here's all these shitty fetch quests before you do it, but now, goodbye.
Yeah,
and the fucking breadcrumbs.
Yeah,
the breadcrumbs with Moonbreeda's parents, like the quest once you get the Charlene with the little girl who talks about Big Mooney. I'm like, and then them talking about like, hey, Mubrina's parents are here. You want to go see him?
Like, oh,
Rianche? I'm like,
here it comes.
Big payoffs. All right. Well, either way, 6.2 gonna be steep with the Final Fantasy IV references, with the Void references, and of course the Pandemonium references. We will have some other little tidbits as well. We're not really sure about the lore of the Criterion dungeons, or I guess technically the Criterions are like bonus difficulties. So of the what was the original name? Not the Criterion. What was it? The thing is, they totally called them Criterion for months before they came out, and now they changed variant.
And then we found out that Criterion's just the hardest difficulty, right?
Yeah, the two hardest. Yeah, variant. Yeah. We don't really know how those are going to dive in because we know we'll be taking a character through with multiple endings. So there's other little tidbits. Not to mention the Sildine. Honestly, the only place we really get much Sildine lore prior to this, Hildebrand.
Yeah. Go figure. So what do you think about them?
Maybe it's tied in.
What do you think about them locking the relics behind that?
It takes like 2 hours to do, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm told. That if you don't actually care about it, and you just like want to skip through it, it's so fucking fast.
Yeah, it's far less verbose.
Good.
It seems hilarious.
But,
I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very quick. So it's not. I don't think it's as big. I don't think it's as big a deal as having 324 mans and all of the text that comes with Ivalice. As much as I love the story and all that there, I think that's a bigger hurdle than Hildebrand is, personally.
I would agree.
And you can solo 3 of them and like do it the last one with like 2 or 3 people.
The Ivalice things?
No, the Hildebrand, because there's a bunch of trials in Hildebrand, but most of them can be unsynced. And the last one can be unsynced, but it takes a couple people. Mm-hmm.
I think you fight. What's the red guy's name again?
Gilgamesh.
Yeah, don't you fight him?
Yeah, that's one. That's one of them.
Greg.
Yeah, Greg.
Old Greg.
No, not that old Greg. Very different Greg.
Very different Greg.
Yeah. No. The guy in red, man, you should play Final Fantasies. The guy in red is
red shirt guy.
Yeah. That's the bare minimum explanation for Gilgamesh.
Red shirt guy.
No, different red shirt guy. Different one. No, we've got different ones for all those. Okay, well, we have had a wonderful talk of many emotions regarding the story today. We're a little bit over time. Don't worry. That is A-okay. That normally happens with lore shows. It's kind of to be expected. But I'm going to start moving us towards the end here. No pun intended. Is there anything in particular that you feel like you need to get off your chest lore-wise while you have the spotlight, while you have the floor that we may not have touched upon?
Use your words.
I think Elidibus is underrated, dude. I think his ending is like underrated, and it made me cry so fucking hard. Like when he has the realization that he can't remember who he's fighting for anymore, it just crushed me, dude. Like, there was something about that moment of like, man, your realization.
A little bit.
A little bit, dude. Dude, a little bit, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god. The rains have cleared and it's a beautiful day, but you're not here to see it. It's so sad, dude. I think highly underrated. We didn't mention Elidibus. Everyone always talks about Emmett Selk, but Elidibus is my boy, and that was big sad.
It's one thing that I actually was glad that I called. I was like, oh, he's coming back in Endwalker. As soon as I saw I was like, oh yeah, he's trapped in the Crystal Tower. I was like,
that did not click to me. Like, I did not realize as his ether floated up and went into the Crystal Tower, I didn't realize what that meant for a little while. So then when they have you go back, at that point, I think Chad had explained it to me. Then I got it, but I initially didn't understand that he was still present in there. That was the whole point of like, we need a big fucking white aura site basically. So let's just use this. So
yeah, because there was the fear that because we learned that white aura site is normally very temperamental. It doesn't last for forever. It doesn't last for a long time. But the Crystal Tower being as big as it is,
Yeah.
So I had a feeling he was coming back. I didn't think he was gonna send us 12,000 years into the past, but.
I did not either. I had no, dude. You know, my chat kept so many things a secret for me. Even with the amount of people that watched when I was doing the MSQ, like, I didn't know Aglaia was a thing. I had no idea. Like, up until the moment I unlocked it, they kept it a secret. I had no fucking idea, which just blew my mind that I, like, the whole Elpis thing. Like, I'm standing there talking to this fucking, and he's like, you need to go back. And I was like, what? Marty, you need to go back to the future. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? He's like, go. I was like, okay, cool. And then we arrive in Elpis, and my mind just, like, blown. I never would have expected that. Fucking crazy. The mods were insane as far as crushing spoilers. Yeah, they were good.
Thank you, Ishikawa. Or
Yeah,
Gigakawa.
Gigakawa. Yeah, it was.
Gigakawa.
I just
man.
imagine the Giga Chat Ishikawa.
Yeah, there's a Gigakawa email, bro. You see?
I don't have it enabled.
Why did y'all fuel the community to make another meme? That's gonna be.
It's amazing.
It's gonna be up this afternoon, this evening.
No, it already exists. Apparently, you just need 7TV. I'd assume.
does.
Or is
Yeah.
it? I guess 7TV can use. It's.
I think it's through 7TV.
Yeah. Oh, Preach made it. There you go. Gigakawa. It's a good thing. I like it. All right.
There you go.
Thank you, Preach's editor. We appreciate you for Gigakawa. All right. Well, I'm glad we finally got to do a lore talk. Like I said, it's been a hot minute since the expert we normally bring on is moved on to bigger and better things. But I'm really glad we brought you on.
Thanks. Yeah, it was fun. It's always fun to have an opportunity to go on and just kind of talk about the thing that I love. So
That's all we're here for.
To have you on again.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm gonna be freaking out. Oh god. I'm so excited for Abyssos and whatever the second wing of Aglaia is gonna be called. I'm sure it's already someone figured it out already. But yeah, it's an exciting time to be in the game because I think that it's really cool to see some of the really meaningful stories like being circled back on and concluded. So yeah.
And
I'm excited
moving towards the next ones.
Yeah, moving towards the next ones. It's always nice to have new things. So, yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure and an honor, and I appreciate that people are interested in hearing my thoughts. So thanks.
No problem. We do have one other lore guest who is heavily requested, and we may have both of you on at some point. Moose, we've never had on the show.
Anonymous.
Really?
We've never had Moose
Yeah.
on. No.
Dang. Yeah, I know Moose. But yeah. We got some synergy, some chemistry. The word. So yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
The
6.2.
day that show happens with you and Anonymous on at the same time, we wouldn't even need to be here. We would just be here in spirit. like we wouldn't say anything. We'd just let the two of y'all bounce ideas off each other and we'd just be here with popcorn, like the
Popcorn and
Michael
referee
Jackson
outfits.
Yeah.
That'd be
Back to your corner. Back to your corner.
Throw some popcorn. That'd be hilarious. We haven't caught up, I think, since I finished Heaven's Ward. It's been a fucking long time. Yeah. So he and I would, that'd be. Someone in my chat said Euphrosyne and Thalia are the other two alliance names.
Oh yes, I've heard that before. Yeah, so Aglaia is being
Thalia.
based on. Yeah, it's kind of like so back when Heaven's Word came out with the Void Arc series, upon seeing what's his face Cuchulainn, Ethis had determined the final raid would be Dunscaith because of the real life lore and history there. So it's very much the same with Aglaia, with it being tied to the other two heavens.
rad.
So
That's sick.
and it's
Cool.
it's really nice to be able to put things together like that very quickly. So good job, chat. Chat also seems to want Noble on, who I know is going through things right now. So got a lot
have
of.
both of us on at the same time. That'll be an
Do you
interesting show.
do you have a history with Noble? Differing theories, it sounds like.
No, just Twitter is just poison for your mind.
Oh, is it? It sounds
me.
like some Miztech and me shit.
For me, Twitter is mind poison. So I don't go on Twitter anymore. No, I mean we not like a big history. No, we've had like little spats. I don't like you very much right now because you got early access to a book that doesn't release until tomorrow, and that's fucked up. And you're tweeting, posting about it. You shouldn't even have access to that book right now. I'm pissed. And then I got my book early anyway. So
Yeah, that's probably a good idea not to have the Twitter then.
Yeah, no.
See, no,
maybe
for me
not.
and Miz, it's other people made shit up. That's what it was.
Hey, bro. Hey, look. When I got my book, I DM'd the author and I was like, "Hey, I got the book early. Are you okay if I read it?" And she's like, "Yes." She's like, "But only if you give me responses to if you give me Twitter DMs of what you think of it." And I was like, "Deal." Yes. So I just sat there and in like 7 hours, I just read the whole fucking book. And like the whole time, I'm just like tweeting her. I'm like, "This is fucking insane." So, but anyway, yeah, that's the only. There's no other real history besides. So.
Okay. Because you suggested having you both on the show, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, no, I think it would actually be a good show if he'd be interested in doing it. I don't have anything against him.
Okay. Well, maybe no, we might have like an army of lore coming in the near future. Then
That'd be cool.
the lore Sly. If that happens, we really won't be a part of the show. We are really going to be witnesses.
Yeah. You'd be like the jury just on the side, just kind of watching.
Yeah, that's it. They'll just hit the gavel occasionally. Oh man.
Yeah, but thanks for having me on, dude. It was really fun.
Well, since we're about to sign off, I'll do
sure,
sponsors, and then you can tell everyone where they can find you at, what you're currently working on, what you have plans for the future. And then we'll do the same, and then we'll go to a very short post show so you can get on with your normally scheduled stream. Sound good?
Sure, sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this week's episode of State of the Realm. As a reminder for our sponsor, Steelseries is a sponsor. We have a discount code in the chat. And also, if you go to the YouTube video, there is a giveaway in the description. You can go to last week's. You can go to this one when it comes out tomorrow. Either way works. If you're an audio listener, same deal. Also, thank you to our sponsors over on Patreon. They don't get anything special for supporting the show. They just do it because they love us, and we love them back. It's just an option that is always there. And of course, to HelloFresh, who sponsors just my channel at the moment, but I'm giving them a free shout out because why not? I've used them for 2 years, even before they sponsored me. So it's like, what the fuck? Why not? Right? I talk about them on the show anyway. So 16 free meals, 3 free gifts across 7 boxes. If you use the discount code that is in the command, !HelloFresh in the chat, and I'll include it in the YouTube video as well. With that, Pyro, the floor is yours once again, but this time to talk about what you're doing.
Thanks. Yeah, so right now I'm streaming Final Fantasy IV. Well, not right now, but like that's what I've been doing on my Twitch. I normally sign on and play some 14 and then play some 4, and I plan to play 6 and 7 and probably 8 and 10 and a bunch of others in the future. So if you're interested in that, I stream at twitch.tv/Pyromancer. Like I said at the start of the stream, I'm reformed. My stream is good vibes, dude. It's good energy. A lot of people have been saying that over the last couple months, and I've been working really hard to make that the case. So if you're someone who's watched before and you're just not sure if you want to again, I would appreciate it if you gave me another chance. But if not, I understand. Regardless of that, I do have a YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Pyromancer. My editor, Gustavo, edits videos and puts them on there for me. He just put on an edit of me watching and going over the 6.2 patch, like live letter thing, and I've never got to do a live letter before, so that's a first for me. That was pretty exciting. And then we just relaunched the Patreon for him, just for Gustavo, because YouTube monetization sucks, and so we're just trying to make it more worth his while. So if you're interested in that, that doesn't go to me. It's all just to him, just to fund the YouTube channel, which is the same thing, patreon.com/Pyromancer. But that's pretty much it. I plan to do more lore videos in the future. I know people really, really want them. I just have this anxiety about doing them, honestly. And I just worry that they're not going to be good enough. So that's just a thing that I need to overcome and build some more confidence. So it is something I want to do. I'm just not quite there yet for people that are waiting for that. So that's it. That's all I have to say.
Consider this a preview of what may or may not come in the future.
Yeah. I really want to do an Aglia video. So if this will give you a pretty good idea of what's going to be in that video when I do it. So,
well, chat's already excited. So once you're excited,
Thanks,
once you're feeling nice and comfy, they will wait and they will enjoy.
Thanks. I appreciate the patience.
All right, Sly, what do you got going on this weekend, my friend?
Well, for that, thank you again, Pyro, for coming on. Again, I've watched your stuff, and I know that you're a little hesitant about doing it, but people can see your passion. Like, people just love lore. So I'm pretty sure if you if you just do it,
I know.
people will watch. People will flock to you. So I'm throwing you the Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. Like just
do it.
Just do it. Just fucking do it.
All right, I will try. Thank you. I appreciate that.
But you, no problem. You can find me at twitch.tv/Sly, aka Gray Fox. You can find me on Twitter at Sly the Fox. Right now, working through Urakill, which is a really weird visual novel. Shin Megami Tensei Saturdays are back. We are doing Soul Hackers in anticipation of Soul Hackers 2. And then waiting on like all the other shit to come out really soon. Dealfield Chronicles, like all the JRPGs that we saw this summer that are coming out soon. That I'm not doing Live Alive. Happy's doing that. Watch him. You know, he'll tell you about it. But yeah, just a bunch of stuff. Really hyped for Shin Megami Tensei Saturdays. I'm doing something special with it too, where y'all can fuck with me while I'm playing. That's pretty funny. Like, so I can do I have to do a strictly just protagonist run with no demons for a certain amount of time, or I can't talk to demons for a certain amount of time. It's fun. So feel free to fuck with me. Of course, Station WSOY. LunarCon is coming up. I will be playing at LunarCon. A bunch of people will be at LunarCon.
Cool.
So go to LunarCon. If you weren't planning on attending, go to LunarCon. Other than that, yeah, I'd still do Station WSOY every Saturday in radio form and in live form every first Saturday. Tonight is Allure. They're open. There's DC travel. So if you want to just hang out, chill, listen to good music, and just vibe at a nightclub on the Ultros, go to Allure. It's that simple. Hope to see you there. Happy. What you doing?
You can find me, Mr. Happy 1227 at all the places. It's a hell of a game season right now. Monster Hunter Rise is still fresh on my mind, and obviously the free updates next month. Strangers of Paradise had its first DLC on Wednesday, which we trekked through and managed to at least get the baseline of stuff done. Final Fantasy XIV is gearing up for its next patch, its next raid tier, and of course, gotta be all geared up for that, all mentally prepared for that. Live Alive came out today. I played through 2 of the chapters thus far, and I need to get through that because Octopath Champions of the Continent is next week as well. And I've been looking forward to, I never thought Champions of the Continent Octopath Traveler was going to happen in the West ever. So I'm very surprised to see that. Xenoblade 3 we're going to give a shot. If I don't like it, I'm going to drop it. I'm not making the same mistake I made with Xenoblade 2. But I'm hoping I like it. I have a good feeling, believe it or not, that I will like it after playing Xenoblade 1. So, fingers crossed on that front. Dealfield Chronicles has a demo August 10th. Don't forget about that. And then, then it's in prediction territory for 6.2. Like, live letter predictions are, either the 12th or the 19th of August, depending on whether it's the 23rd or the 30th for the patch, which we still don't know yet. Although at the Moogle event, we can assume the 23rd for the patch because it's normally 4 weeks after. So, busy season coming up. So excited. But with that, thank you again, Pyro. We said it a dozen times. We'll say it a dozen more.
Thanks.
And we're going to go into a very short post show. All I asked Pyro is just no talking for about 10 seconds so I can find it in the VOD. And then audio will still be live, but we'll keep the post show super short so I can actually eat this fucking wrap.
Sounds good. I'm going to go to the bathroom.
All right, you do that. That's the perfect way to be quiet for 10 seconds. There you go. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you next week for, I don't know yet, but we'll figure something out. We'll come up with something. Don't worry. We got this. We got this in the bag. So thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you guys next week. Until then, bye-bye.
Take care.